long. Do I look cool?
No.
Oh,
This is how you know we would never have made it as Jedi because we both would have died as Padawans or whatever.
Straight away,
as younglings.
I'd have accidentally put
Done
my
the
hand
Luke
too low.
Skywalker.
Straight through the face.
Straight through the face.
What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the True Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. Bro, how are you doing today?
I'm knackered and also jealous.
Oh, is it?
That thing is awesome. I love your rod.
Oh, thank you.
So
It was handed down to me by an old man. I met him in a desert. He told me to meet him alone.
the like handle bit is way longer than a normal lightsaber would be. But the blade is about the right length. And I never realized how big lightsabers were.
Right, you don't realize how much reach you have. By the way, for the audio virgins out there, I'm holding Cal Kestis's lightsaber from Jedi Fallen Order. I'll tell you all the story all about it right now, but that's what that sound was at the beginning. That's the
thing about it is you don't have to make your own sound effects. You're normally like even and it changes color as well. Like it has strikes and like even I don't know if you guys know this, but in the OG movies, they actually, I think in all of them, they have had to edit out people's sound effects. Yeah. Because it's just something you naturally do.
It's just so cool. You just want to go pew, 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 ting, ting. So, yeah.
It does all the sound effects. It's freaking sweet.
So, how you doing?
I'm knackered.
Oh, yeah.
I know I've had no time. Like, I'm 3 episodes behind on The Last of Us.
Mate, I'm 2 episodes behind. It's really bad for me because mine's right after the controversial episode. Right. So it seems like I have an issue with it. I know I had a problem with the episode, but it wasn't because of what you think. I just haven't had time to go back to it.
I just hate homosexuals.
Like, that's what everyone's going to say.
So, I'm 3 episodes behind on that. I haven't played any of Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh, how are we going to talk about?
I know, because obviously we do hate homosexual. Wait, shit. What was the one?
That's
JK?
different. It's trans people.
Damn it. Never mind.
Well, we're adding to our repertoire. That's what we're doing.
There we go.
We're expanding our horizons in people we hate.
But because I'm an alpha male and play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah. There is that.
My game's cancelled tomorrow, so I have like a 5-hour stint free.
Perfect. You can play Harry Potter with your little nerd hat and glasses,
which
right. I know you have.
Obviously. I'm gonna be sitting on. Well, I don't have a broom, so it'll be a mop.
Oh, okay, good enough. Yeah,
simulating being a Harry Potter fan, so literally trying to sit on it.
Oh, I can't make jokes about Harry Potter fans anymore, can I?
You never could, bruv.
Yeah, it was. Well, I tried, and then I made that. I'm playing it, so that's the thing right there, bro.
Yes.
Before we get too far into it, let's thank our super bros over at thank our super bros who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations, who keep the lights and mics on and the gaming going over here. Those people are Isak, the ultimate cumsock, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling. Adam's very jealous. No, it might be. In fact, a few people are jealous.
They should all be.
This. They all are. Isak, Adam, the other Adam, all the people. Mario as well. Hang on. Casper, the friendly
Mario's
patron.
a proper hardcore Star Wars dude. Like he should be really
he's
genuinely angry.
He's part of the story, so I'll tell you guys after this anyway. Casper, the friendly patron. Mikey T, the gamer giant. Super Sus, Ben Fryer, the filthy thief fanatic, Joe McCormack, Clark, the 53rd. My juicy left nut, the super sexy producer Sean, and Gams Master, the leader of the Empire, the fearless one, the great Lord Vader himself. Step cousin, who isn't really that important, but he just likes to be in the photos every now and again.
He's included in the family emails.
Exactly. Yeah. The
Christmas that one overbearing aunt sends out to everyone.
The monthly news shot to each of the family members. Yes, so terrible.
Like he's technically in the photos, but it's more of a, can you take the photos for us? You're so good at it.
Yeah.
That's what it's one of those. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for all the support over there on Patreon. If you want to become a patron, you can have your name read out as well. It'd be really awesome like that.
I actually just had a look at Patreon.
Patreon, yes.
Learn your words.
Yes, English.
We're still killing it.
Yeah, I'm really quite touched by the community. Not in that way, but I'm touched because we had such a huge break and everyone was so freaking understanding. I wouldn't have been this understanding.
No,
but I'm a cunt, so there you go.
It's true.
And you guys are so awesome, and you guys feel like we deserve it, and I'm really touched by that. That's kind of amazing.
I think really the incredible thing is how we managed to target people with zero critical thinking skills and get them to give us money.
It's amazing how we managed to nail so many of them. Like, we thought, take a shot, we'll get 5. 50. There you go. Yeah. So, this lightsaber.
Yeah, tell us the story.
So you actually don't know this story. I did make a video and put it on my channel, and because you're not, I was going to say you're a real friend, you don't watch that stuff. Right. But I did actually.
If I did, it would just be to take notes and things to rinse you for later. Yeah.
I left out one small detail from that, so people who saw that video, you're going to hear a little bit extra over here. So, picture this, right? 2nd of February, I'm at the gym, just working out. Mario, 5380, sends me a DM. And goes, bro, this is your chance. And it's a tweet from the EA Star Wars official account saying the lightsaber hunt is on in London at 12 o'clock.
Sick.
Right at the time he messaged me, it was like 11 o'clock or something like that. And I was like, and it was like 10 past 11. I was like, oh.
This is in the day, not in the night, for the record.
Yeah. And by the time I get home from the gym, have a shower and stuff like that, someone's obviously going to be there before me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never going to win it. And then he goes, I look in the what you could win and stuff like that. First prize gets a lightsaber and a copy of the game, and then the next 25 people get a copy of the game. And I was like, I'm sure I could be one of the first 25 people.
Yeah.
And a free copy of the game is better than no copy of the game.
Yeah.
So I was like, fine, all right, I'll do it. And I looked at, it was a clue. It showed a short video of some stormtroopers carrying the case that it comes in.
Yeah.
And they were in a forest somewhere. And then they showed a hut made of sticks. And that was it. And I was like, there's not much to go on.
Yeah.
But they're not going to make it super hard. So I just went London Stick Hut Forest. Because I knew it was in London, and I just did that. First things first, Epping Forest. Epping Forest comes up.
That's not far.
And I'm like, I've heard of Epping Forest. I'm pretty sure that's close. I look at it, and it's literally at 15 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
And like no traffic, nothing like that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to finish off this set and I'm going to go home and I'm going to get like that. Finish off my set, go home. I have a shower. My idea was I was going home to pick up my girlfriend because maybe she wanted to come with me. We could take Isla to the park or something like that. But they were sleeping, thank God.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't, then I would have had to wait for them to get ready and maybe I would have missed out.
Thank you for small mercies.
Thank you for my girlfriend being constantly sleepy.
Yeah.
So I go have my shower, I get dressed, not in a massive hurry, but hurry enough that I'm like, I could get a free game, this could be quite cool.
Yeah.
And I drive down to Epping Forest. I get there, I drive past, the entrance, and I can see on the other side of the field that leads into the tree line area that there are stormtroopers there. You can see them in bright white outfits. They're really far away, but you can tell from miles away. Yeah. Kind of makes you wonder, like, that's why they have those forest versions for because they would stick out like a sore thumb otherwise. Anyway, I park my car in a nearby like pub, and I go trekking across a muddy field. Yeah, as is every field in the UK. Yeah, it's never going to be anything.
It's a field, and in the rainiest country on earth.
Yes, exactly. Ruined my trainers, but
let me fact check that. Let me fact check that. Where's the rainiest country in the world? In the world,
it's going to be something like the Amazon rainforest, right?
It is Colombia.
There you go. There we go.
So we're not the rainiest. There we go. Yay us.
We're number 2. We're number 2.
Anyway, keep going with the story, and I'll tell you who's number 2.
I go through the trek through the mud, and there was a couple of requirements when you got there, right? Now, I read through some of did a very cursory reading of the requirements. It was like you had to have beaten the game. And you have to prove it via achievements or trophies or something like that. You have to answer a skill-based question when you get there.
Right, yeah.
And you have to be over the age of 18.
So how did you win it? Obviously, skill-based question.
Well, this is the thing. I shit myself when I first heard that because I was like, fuck. What is this skill-based question going to be? Yeah. Because, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not a Star Wars hardcore fan. Like, I'm not Adam Sandling. I'm not a Mario 53. I'm not any of these guys. I'm like, okay, I've watched all the movies. I could probably recite a good number of scenes.
In the never released script for the cancelled project You know,
How old?
in the animated series, when young Ahsoka is speaking with Yoda, in what? Yeah.
How old was George Lucas when he got his driver's license? What? Stuff like that I was expecting.
Yeah.
And Mario kind of got in my head as well. He's like, you better brush up on your knowledge. I'm like, what? You want me to revise the entire history of Star Wars in this next hour? What the fuck am I going to do?
While you drive there and shower. Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, cool, whatever, I'm going to go there. And I go there. And the stormtrooper notices me straight away. And all the whole time, the stormtrooper's all in character. Yeah. They're like, we've got one. You okay there, sir? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for the saber hunt. And he's like, we've got one, boys. And I was like, oh, it's quite cool right here. Anyway, there's a lady next to him. And he's like, okay, you have to answer a skill-based question. Are you ready? And I mean...
Sweat bullets. Sweat laser bolts.
I was like, oh, God, this is so bad. And he's like, take a deep breath. Even the stormtrooper's like, take a deep breath. This is important.
Yeah.
And I'm just freaking out. And he goes, what is 1 + 1?
11.
Well, this is the thing. I was like, oh my God. It's not going to be like 2. It's clearly going to be something like, there's clearly a reference to something in Star Wars and I'm forgetting it. Yeah. What is it like?
What if I don't say Watto agrees?
Watto said something in
Watto sends his regards, right? Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, I immediately, it felt like about 2 minutes of me panicking. But in reality, it was like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've got to say something. So I'm just going to say the logical thing. 2. And they're like, yes, there it is right there. And I'm like, whoa, thank God. And because I'm so freaked out in that moment and like a relief and whatnot, so many emotions go through, she hands me a card and it says number 1 on it. I'm just like, cool, no problem. And I get escorted by that stormtrooper to another set of stormtroopers. And they play out a little thing. They're like, can we see your credentials? They just want to see the card. And we're like, sir, we've got one here. No problem. We'll bring him down. And I'm just like, this is also cool and whatnot. And I'm loving it. And I go down there and there's about 20 people there. Maybe like 6 of them are people who are just like, who've seen stormtroopers and they're like, cool, I want to take a picture. And other ones are people who work for the event. So like a photographer, a videographer, a mic guy, a couple of like community managers and stuff like that. And they're all staring at me because I'm the only one there.
Yeah.
And I'm smiling, I'm happy because I'm like, I feel like I got the question right and I know I've got the trophy, so I've won something. I'm great. And then I get to the front and the lady's like, cool, can you just show me your ID? Can you do this? Can you log in on this thing, put your email address in so I can give you your prize? And I was like, awesome. And I wasn't freaking out, but I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is great. This is awesome. And then one of the ladies go, you do know what you've won, right? And I was like, oh, no, sorry. Just before that. I was like, sorry, can I just ask a quick question? This card says 1. Does that mean I'm the first here? Like, surely not, right? And they're like, yeah, you're the first. I'm like, no way, really? I got the lightsaber. Cool. Oh, awesome. I was like, great, this is fantastic.
As well as the free copy of the game. This is brilliant.
This is brilliant. I'm amazed. And I'm like, cool, great. And I'm getting excited, etc. And then I calm down just a little bit. Yeah. Start entering my details. We're waiting there. We're all chilling and stuff like that. And again, they're looking at me, expecting something. But I'm like, just normal.
Yeah.
And they're like, you do know what you won, right? And I was like,
lightsaber in the game.
Copy of the game. They're like, you also won an all expenses paid trip to Las Vegas, to LA. I keep saying Las Vegas. To LA, to Respawn Entertainment Studios, to play the game early with the developers, to play test it. And you're going to win either a PlayStation, an Xbox, or a PC of your whichever one you choose, as well on top of that. And I was like,
that changes things just a little.
This is my reaction. I was like, I feel like I'm old enough to know when someone's trying to pull the wool over my eyes.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a gag.
Yeah.
Are you messing with me? And she goes, no. And I'll go, oh, God. And I drop down almost into the mud. I managed to steady myself. And I'm like, oh, God. And this is all on camera as well. Yeah. Guys afterwards got the camera in my face while I'm down in the mud. It's like, oh, God. I'm freaking the fuck out. Yeah. Are you serious? Yeah, we're serious. And they're like, that's the reaction we was expecting. I was like, yeah.
Well, I didn't know about it.
I didn't know. So I'm freaking out. They do the sign up thing. They escort me over to the other stormtroopers. They give me the lightsaber, and then proceeds about 20-25 minutes of me geeking out in front of 20 people with just the lightsaber going hitting not actually hitting, but like striking stormtroopers with the lightsaber. They're all like reacting. We're getting on video and photos and stuff, and then proceeded just me being the biggest nerd like forever. I was just like, cool, that's great.
One sort of follow-up question for me: how did your girl take it when she found out we're going to LA?
So this is funny as well. This is the guy left out of the story on the video. I called my girlfriend afterwards. I was like, babe, you know I went to this thing. Apparently there was a bigger thing to it as well. Like you get to win like a trip to LA and a PC and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And I won. And she was like, what? I won.
I don't know this bit of the story. I'm genuinely...
She's like, but you can't go to LA. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, you can't leave us here. I'm like... You wasn't even excited for me yet. You just like went straight to thinking about yourself. I'm like, come on. I'm like, I'm sure we'll work out a way for you to come as well. Right. It's not the plan to leave you. But I love her first thought was, no, you're not leaving me.
Yeah. The other thing, she works for some next coding company, magic. I don't know. Genuinely, what people do with code, it might as well be the Harry Potter game.
Might as well.
Just doesn't make sense to me. But I think it would be cool for her just professionally to come and see what her equivalents do. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Does it still make
hang it from your belt?
Oh shit! Oh, it's got a loop. Oh, it's even better. That is monstrously big, though.
It is.
It looks like it's your Yoda size, and that's a normal. I guarantee there is porn out there where someone's changed out. Oh! That's awesome. Audio versions, you're missing out.
You're missing out, guys. You're missing out. But yeah,
that's a sick story.
That was the story there. Now, you asked me when am I going to America before we started the thing. The truth is, I don't know yet. So when I went to go win the thing, they said to me, the playtest date isn't set because it had been delayed 6 weeks the week before I went there.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, yeah, I know the game's delayed, so it's probably still up in the air. And plus, they're running 3 competitions of this, and the last one just happened yesterday. So I'm guessing once they're done, and then they set the date for that, then they'll contact me. They have contacted me already to make sure that I have a valid passport. And I was like, cool, yeah, I do, no problem. They'll be like, we'll get back in touch.
Yeah, I'm an immigrant, so I actually need this.
So it turns out, no, don't. Sorry about that.
Oh, shit. That thing is solid.
I'm telling you, this is so just so you guys know, they let me know something cool about this. This is apparently the first one of 3 exclusive lightsabers at the moment.
Yeah.
This is the one that you can buy at Galaxy's Edge, but it's not available at Galaxy's Edge just yet because the game hasn't come out. When the game comes out, then they'll have it there. And there's only 3, which was made specifically for this saber hunt in all the 3 locations. And I had the first one in the world, and I was like,
that's pretty cool. You had the first something in Star Wars. That's sick.
Pretty sick right there. Anyway, now you can pretty much guarantee that I'm going to give the Star Wars Jedi Survivor a 10 out of 10 when it comes out. In fact, I'm giving it now 10 out of 10.
It's sort of your best game ever made.
Best game ever made. God of War, what?
Who? I got to be honest, actually, we've been quite lucky London-wise for events going on. Like, there was that. That's probably taken the cake. But there was the Leviathan X.
Yeah.
There was a... Was there a Raptor, or was that in Sweden? Did we get?
There was somewhere. There was one in Amsterdam, and I think that's something I didn't mention as well last week. Last time I went to go to London to see that, and I took Thor's hammer down there, and I was like, "Bring me Kratos!"
I saw those. Those are cool.
It was good stuff. That was it. We have been quite lucky in that.
We have been. Yeah. It's despite getting games weeks late for no reason, and shows like years late for no reason, we get some cool stuff. It's
gotten better over the years, hasn't it? Like, I remember when it used to be really bad. Like, we were a third world country for some reason. I was like, what? Don't get what's going on here.
Don't understand why you're treating us like this.
Anyway, that's that right there. That's that right there. For those of you guys that didn't know, that's happening, and I'm going to go play the game. I don't know when it is. When it is, though, you can bet your ass I'll come back and I'll tell you guys how it all was. I'll be vlogging the whole thing, documenting the whole thing. It'll be quite fun. My first time going to America, so that'll be something quite interesting.
Yeah, don't get shot.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
Just don't go to any schools and you'll be fine. Sorry.
Just don't visit any schools. Oh, boy.
What about Isla? Does she have like a baby passport? How does that work?
I think... Yeah, she has a baby passport. Yeah.
But like, she's changed so much.
Mate, what is passports like? What are passports like for everyone else in other countries? Have you ever... Would you remember what it's like to try and get a passport?
No.
The stupid requirements. So, like, in order to get a passport, you need to send them, like, 2 photos of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Sign a whole document, fill out all the thing.
Yeah.
And then that document needs to be confirmed and signed by someone that knows you, but not a relative or close enough to be anyone like a friend.
Yeah.
It needs to be someone who's been in a profession, like a doctor or a teacher, but needs to know you well enough, but not know you well enough. It's like, so they can't be a friend, but they have to be someone who's willing to sign a legal document on your behalf. Who the fuck does that?
Really dumb
Do you
stuff
sign
as
any
well.
documents for anyone that you don't know?
No. Why would I?
Or someone you've just met in passing. Oh, yeah, meet them at the shops every now and again. Fuck,
Yeah, of course.
why would I do this?
Yeah, also, like, what if you... So, I think people go, okay, if it's your doctor, they know you're you. If it's your manager, that sort of thing. It's like, well, a manager will have been tricked by all the same documentation I gave you if this was fake.
Exactly.
And, like, why does it matter?
So fucking dumb. It's so dumb.
The dumb thing as well is, like, you have to use a black biro. If you use blue, it doesn't count. You might as well have not have done it or put it in pencil. And everything you write has to stay inside the box. So if you like do a signature and the line goes out the box, you void the whole document.
That's a massive racket because they don't refund you as well. They go, oh yeah, it's like 80 quid, 100 quid, whatever the fuck it is for it, and they go, oh, by the way, if it's gone a millimeter out and our computer can't read it, we don't give a fuck. And I'm like, surely you don't take the money because you don't do anything. You don't produce the passport.
Didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's that bullshit service when you go to a post office where it's like, oh, if you pay
whatever it is.
if you pay us an extra 25 quid, we'll check it for you to make sure that it will go over those things. And you think 25 to save like £100. Well, I think get fucked, but you're like, all right, maybe they've got like a computer back there, similar to the computer they're going to do.
Someone just goes
similar to the computer over there they have at the passport office, so maybe it's going to do the check like they would do. But no, dickhead just pulls out and goes, that's all right.
That looks okay. I think that'll go through. Give me my money back or I'm coming back there.
Exactly. Anyway, that's the UK systems right there. Really awful, really shit. Bro.
Yes.
Shall we talk about our first topic?
You know what? No. Let's not do that.
It's only a gaming podcast. I mean, who wants to see that? By the way, I haven't done any timestamps for the last episode, and
perfect.
I'm going to start doing them right now.
Oh, sick. Upgrades.
Our first topic.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise. Xbox Game Pass cannibalises game sales, confirmed by Microsoft themselves.
No, bro, you don't understand. Obviously, you don't get it.
Obviously, I don't get it.
You're a Sony pony.
After years of saying exactly this.
I mean, literally since 2017.
Literally since it came out, like, but this could have a negative effect. First, it started off as a concern. It could have negative effects on this. And then we started going on and we saw NPD results and we said, look, this is the evidence of what we said.
And then, just to get it from the horse's mouth at EGX, every time I would ask the small developers, I'm like, look, although obviously, like, and I don't say this out loud, I want to know. I also want to make sure if we mention a game that people support you in the best way possible. What's the best way for somebody to support you? Like, if somebody was going to buy the game or has it on Game Pass, what's the best for you? And they go, always, which is what we said, Game Pass is really great. It helps us, like, develop the game. We get some money up front. But the best way would be if you could buy the game, like on Steam or actually like a physical purchase. That's the best for us. Who could have ever seen that one coming?
Who could have ever seen that? I'm going to read directly from an article from gamesindustry.biz. I'm pretty much going to read this whole thing. It's not a very long article, so you guys get the full gist of it. Xbox maker tells UK CMA it expects titles to see a decline in base game sales for at least a year following the inclusion into the subscription service. All right, it starts off like this.
Yeah.
The UK Competition and Markets Authority provisional report on Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition. So this is within the report of concerns for the acquisition that the CMA put forward. From Microsoft, putting that games put into Game Pass subscription service cannibalize sales of those titles, and this is a direct quote from Microsoft right here. Microsoft is also from the CMA report.
To be clear, a legal investigation.
Yes. Microsoft is also submitted that Microsoft's internal analysis shows a redacted percentage decline in base game sales 12 months following their addition into Game Pass, the CMA noted in their report. The confirmation runs counter to Xbox head Phil Spencer made in 2018, where he claimed that Game Pass boosts sales rather than undermines them.
I mean, that's so obviously a lie. But are you suggesting Phil Spencer in a corporate suit would lie to consumers?
This is the thing. We kept, when that came out, we was just like, look, everyone's used that as ammunition. They were like, look, Phil Spencer said it directly.
Yeah.
It can't be a lie. He has a fiduciary obligation to tell the truth. And I'm like,
I agree with you. He does. Crazy that he lied on TV.
I'm confused because the math doesn't add up. Could he explain the math to us?
Ain't mathin'.
Right? Could he explain the math to us? Because we would just like to know the truth. That's all we'd like to know.
Very simple fix. Just release your numbers so that we can have a look.
Exactly.
Because we do have a look at these numbers and we have some business sense, and we'll look at Sony's numbers.
Exactly. Sony put their numbers out. Everyone sees those, and then we deduce what.
Or how about just something simple like how many Xbox Series X's you've sold versus Series S's? That would be useful to know.
It goes on here. So what Phil Spencer said in 2018 was, when you put a game, this is very specifically what he said, right?
Okay, yeah.
When you put a game like Forza Horizon 4 on Game Pass, you instantly have more players for that game, which is actually leading to more sales of the game, Spencer said. Adding, you say, well, isn't everyone just going to subscribe for $10 and go and play this thing? But no, gamers find things to play based on what everyone else is playing. End quote. Very specific in what he's saying there. He's using one specific example of Forza Horizon 4, which did get a boost of, an odd boost of sales in the beginning. Before it released on Game Pass, there was a 4-day window where you could buy a version which would give you 4-day early access.
When was that as well? It was
Forza. God, was it 2021?
Horizon 4, yeah?
Yeah. 2021?
I want to know exactly when it released, because I remember 28th September. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was closer to December, and I thought it was Christmas sales that he was cannibalizing instead, but it's not that bad.
That happened, and I think he's using specifically Forza Horizon 4 because that was probably the only time that ever happened.
This is what happens based on our case study of the one time.
That's what I think happened, and that's the really the funny bit right there. Interesting note the CMA put down here as well. It says, elsewhere in the CMA's report, it cites Microsoft as saying that Activision took a dim view on putting titles into the multi-game subscription service on any platform, believing that it severely cannibalizes B2P, buy-to-play sales, particularly in the case of newer releases.
Because of course it does.
The company they're trying to buy even disagreed with putting games on the service, so they decided to go buy them straight out anyway. That's pretty much what they're doing right here.
Yeah.
Let's discuss. We knew all along. Pat ourselves on the back. We called this from the beginning.
5 years earlier than... I mean, it literally took the SEC investigating for them to admit that we were right.
Exactly. And all you dickheads out there who are saying, now when you see this, you're like, well, of course it undermines the sales of games. You weren't saying that before. You weren't saying that literally up until the day this came out.
Yeah.
Now you're acting like, oh, it's common knowledge. We were the ones saying it was common sense.
This is the big point. It's the hypocrisy that I don't... Right? If they we were misled. I still like Game Pass. Still think it's a good model, but that changes something.
If they literally pulled up this Phil Spencer quote where he said it boosts sales, like, well, Phil Spencer told us this. We assume that was right because he has to tell the truth.
Right.
But like, cool, no problem. I get you were misled.
That's also a brilliant example of everything we've ever said about Phil Spencer, which is he's incredibly talented in terms of his media verbiage.
Yes.
Exactly what he says is not illegal.
Yes.
Exactly what he says. And he can say, well, I referenced this case study. That's what happened.
It's like going, well, people are saying, game sales will reduce for Call of Duty if we put it onto Game Pass,
Well,
if we purchase it. If Phil Spencer, all he has to say was like, I think it could double. I mean, it doesn't. I said I think. I don't know if it's true. I'm not an analyst. I just had a hunch. Maybe it will work out that way. Maybe if we do some really good promotions, it might work out that way. But that's the thing. You can't. You have to really think about what he says.
He's very careful, very well trained, and if you trust him, well, this is the thing that we don't trust anyone, Sony or PlayStation either. No. But for some reason, people trust Phil Spencer, even though he lies to your face, and we know he's lying. Because, he'll say things about Xbox that we know aren't true.
Yes. I really just wish it would just be more humbleness. Not all of this. I understand fake it till you make it. And that's what they did a lot of in the beginning.
Yeah.
Cool. But there comes a point where you've been faking it for far too long.
Yeah. You're just pretending it.
It's pantomime now. That's what this is. Anyway, that's...
The other thing is the Xbox. So they go, well, of course. Well, no. You were saying that it didn't do that, and that it would be bad. So this is bad.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is go, this is bad. We were told this. We're misled. I still think if you do still think that, which is okay, you're allowed to be stupid. That Xbox is good and Game Pass is good. You can be stupid. You're allowed to have a shit opinion.
Yeah.
But you need to say, well, I thought it was this originally. It was a much better position here.
Yeah.
Turns out that's not true. Can't believe I trusted somebody over my own reasoning.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fair enough. Like you trust doctors over your own.
Exactly.
You trust mechanics over your own reasoning. If you don't do your own car work. Like, of course, it's okay to do that. But it's not okay to just immediately switch positions and then be like, well, of course I did that. And we said that the whole time through. Well, no, you didn't, because we've been arguing about it.
No. Have you been keeping up at all with any of the with the whole CMA versus the Microsoft Activision Blizzard and whatnot?
No, I stopped paying attention to it because, as far as I'm concerned, there's no investigation. This is a bad move. The SEC seem to be made up of people who, whether they know the industry or not, have become very well educated about how it works very quickly.
Very quickly, it seems. I really didn't see that coming.
Right, I was expecting it to be people that have no idea.
Yeah. They were just waiting for their palms to be greased.
But the thing is, they probably know the entertainment industry. They probably know movies and books and stuff. I would expect that. So they understand this is a real business, real model. And they seem to be on top of things. So from my perspective, people that seem to understand the realm, seem to understand business, should very easily be able to tell that this is bullshit. And that this is basically a done and dusted, close the book on it case, which is why I haven't been paying attention. Also because I suspected it was only going to get worse. And like this stuff. And as much as people accuse us of being Sony ponies, it's only because they feed us. And we've said it before, and we mean it. We want a strong Xbox. But a strong Xbox doesn't look like this. Microsoft buying everything up because they've got more money than God and can absorb obvious losses. It looks like the Xbox that put out Halos 1 through 3, Forza, Gears of War, when they were good games that could go head-to-head with whatever was on PlayStation. That's the strong Microsoft that I want. Give me freaking Banjo-Kazooie, you little shit. So I actually don't want to constantly be ragging on them because it's all we get to do and it's boring.
I have to say my position has changed quite a bit on this. I thought this would be a bad idea in the beginning. I thought this would be bad. It's just going to cause like Xbox were only buying Activision in order to bully PlayStation using the power
very
of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It was very clearly that's what they were going to do. But I thought there's no way to really stop them. If they want to buy, they want to buy. And when the FTC got involved with and the CMA got involved in was it the EU, whichever one it was, doing their investigation, I thought, well, they're politicians. They don't know games.
They have no idea.
They don't. Politicians aren't even good at doing politics. So I was like, they're probably just looking for a payday. Right. They're looking for their palms to be greased. And I think I said this at the beginning when this happened. I
think you did.
This is going to go through. They're just looking to get paid. When Microsoft gives them the right amount of money, they're going to be fine.
Have you seen The Big Short?
Yeah. Oh, no, I haven't seen The Big Short.
The Big Short's really good. But there's this one scene where these two guys who managed to find out about it all happening before it happens. One of their brothers dated this chick who works for the SEC.
Yeah.
And they're like, my brother dated this chick. She's in town. Let's go speak to her. And they're speaking to her, and apparently this is true. At the time, she was there basically flirting and trying to suck her way into a job, no joke, at one of these big banks. I think it was Goldman Sachs.
Use your skills.
Yeah, fair enough. If you've got it. And they're talking to her, and she's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to get a job at the SEC. And they're like, surely there's got to be a law against someone who's recently worked at a regulatory body going and working for a bank. And she just starts cracking up. She's like, no, no, this is the normal career progression. And it's one of those moments that I think got really overlooked in the movie, because it's like the guys who make the rules can immediately go and work for the guys they make the rules for.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's another word for that, and it's called bribery.
Exactly.
So I was expecting pretty much exactly what you were expecting.
And I had just a tiny thought of maybe it comes across to the right person. Maybe something goes on, but I highly doubt it. Yeah. And then little things kept coming up. I
remember we kept seeing stuff, and I was like, these guys actually are doing some research.
And I was like, Is PlayStation just educating them or giving them some lines? But this is still not going to go through. Don't worry about it. And then it gets to this point, and the CMA post this on the 8th of February. They posted.
Sorry, guys, I got a really bad cold. I'm really sorry.
They posted a full report saying that they do believe that the market will be severely impacted.
Severely impacted, yeah.
That's and I'm like, yo. Are we really at the point now where it went from there's no chance this is going to get blocked to we believe this is a severe impact on the gaming industry, therefore it's our moral obligation to stop this? Are we really in this?
I think what most likely what happened, and this is if you can fill in some blanks. At the beginning of this, they were like, oh, this is a big business deal, so we'll look into it. And then someone was like, hey, Jerry, how much money is in this gaming thing? And it comes back and they're like, hey, Jerry, you printed out 5 extra zeros. And Jerry's like, no, I didn't. What? That's the gross revenue. That tax figure is accurate.
What they did was they were like, here's Microsoft's Xbox game division yearly turnover. Oh, that's not that much. Not bad. It's like, here's PlayStation's one. What?
Right.
What the hell? There's this much money in gaming? There we go.
So that's what I think happened. And then they suddenly went, yeah, maybe we should take this seriously. And then they did. And my little shred of hope is that no one thought to bribe these guys.
Could be.
Right, because I bet these guys get bribed very often.
I was going to say, I have no trust in politicians that this would have got anywhere near this far had someone slipped them a couple bills.
Because these are the guys that get appointed. You know when the government does something wrong and they're like, we've appointed an internal, in order
to find out if we've done wrong, we are going to really think about this in a room for a few minutes.
Yeah, we're going to go away and think about what we did. No, it turns out we found no wrongdoing.
No wrongdoing. I am innocent. That'll be all. Exactly. So no further questions. So that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Do you know the ironic thing is? I feel like we never would have got this far, and Xbox would have actually been in a much healthier spot if they'd have been honest about how unhealthy they were.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. It's a lot. It was bad before, but it was to the point where, and first of all, it was only to us gamers, so it wasn't to anyone official. It was them lying to us, and it was up to us to be smart enough to see through their bullshit.
A giant corporation lied to its customers.
Right, it happens every fucking day. But when it happened, but then it got to the point where they were lying to regulatory bodies, And then on top of that, then doubling back and telling truths, but truths that make them look so fucking stupid. After telling such massive lies about how we are the best, everything, Game Pass is the best thing in the world. It doesn't even have a downside. And then it comes out, it's like, actually, we're not making any money. Actually, we really need this. We don't
actually, PlayStation's bullying us.
Right, and also we're not the big. We're the little guys. We're tiny people. We're small over here in the corner, defenseless people. Right. PlayStation is the big number one guys. But when they're on the E3 stage, we are the best in gaming. We do the best this, best that. Oh, and by the way, our service, it does really hurt gaming.
And this is one of those things where it's like, this is one of the reasons I want Starfield to be good. But when it's not, I'm going to really enjoy that it's not. And I'm going to really enjoy that the suspected cost of Halo Infinite was $500 million, which realistically I can see it being way less. Like, I can't see where that all went, but I could see Microsoft just dumping that kind of money into it because they just don't. No one's managing projects here very clearly.
Yeah, there's just no they just give free rein to everyone. They're just like, cool, go do your thing. Unfortunately, it's the downside of Western company sort of culture nowadays. If they are too overbearing on someone, then they're seen as like a toxic company who mistreats their employees, and because they've got more money than God, they're seen as the guys. Well, you have so much money, you can afford not to be them people. So then they go too far in the opposite direction, nothing gets done.
And the other thing is, I think enough people will whine about it regardless. So like CDPR was accused of being like toxic and overbearing, not inclusive, and too much crunch and stuff like that. And it's like CDPR is about the most opposite to that.
I was going to say that doesn't sound like the CDPR, I know.
Yeah, but people that aren't happy with them accuse them of that, and a few people have bad experiences, coders or whatever, and they accuse them of it, and it's like, well, the accusation is so much bigger than the defense that it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. But again, the thing with the Xbox stuff is that we were right, and not. Also, here's the thing: we're obviously not very smart.
No. That's the thing. We're not claiming to be intelligent people here.
No, all we're doing is actually looking.
Yeah, and not just turning a blind eye because for whatever reason.
And I feel like we can say that because every single time Sony's done this, we've immediately ripped into them.
Yeah.
Immediately ripped into them. Because we're not actually Sony ponies, we just happen to be on the Sony side right now.
It's like we go where there's a nice game. That's what it is.
That's exactly it, yeah. In fact...
That's why I'm bum-sucking EA right now.
That's right. What are you saying?
I wonder if people have heard that saying before. Bum-sucking.
Yeah, bum-sucking. That is old school, isn't it?
That is an old school London thing, bro.
It's... actually, we're the worst kind of leeches.
Yeah.
Because we will just go wherever the best blood is. But, like, it's not on Microsoft. I used to be the guy. I was proud to have like OG Xboxes and like 5 360s because they all Red Ring of Death on me. Like, but I think I still got the carcasses somewhere. You know, like
the carcasses. I like that.
I found a lot of my old COD games and Dead Space on 360, and I'm like, oh man, this is cool. I'm never going to get to play that again.
Yeah, it's never going to. I don't have a console. How do I work? Just chuck it in the oven like you used to back in the day.
No, you wrapped a towel around it because the most common issue was the soldering joint would come loose for. I think it was like part of the graphics card or the motherboard or something. And if you wrap the towel around it, it would get hot enough and it would remelt that solder and it would fix.
I'm just so baffled by that because.
And who figured that out?
Yeah, right? Because like, it's like one of those crazy things. It's like, how did you get to this point? Because there's no logic in it. There's no logic.
What I suspect happened is most likely one guy got the Red Ring of Death and this thing was overheating. And then like someone threw a duvet over it. Like a cover. like a late night zombie session. Guy's got his duvet in his beanbag and he's like playing it in Red Rings of Death. He's like, fuck's sake. Throws it over the Xbox. Goes out, makes his cup of tea or something, comes back and he's like, the fuck?
It's working
again. It's working again.
It's Jesus. He's come back.
His mate has the same problem like a week later. He's like, yo, bro, wrap a towel around it and just go away for 10 minutes, see if it fixes itself. And his bro comes back and he's like, yo, That worked. How did you know? He says it. One of the two of them's a Redditor. They head to Reddit and they're like, yo, just in case, like, we found this, and it happens to be the most common fix to the most common problem.
I would love to know the origin story of how that worked out, because it must be amazing.
That was so annoying as well that it actually worked, because it was one of those things where, like, we're talking about an era where cheat codes sometimes work and sometimes don't. Do you remember the rare candy cheat on Pokemon?
Oh yeah.
Like, that was so bizarre. Yeah, the missing O thing. Like, you had to trust that when you saw the fact that you'd corrupted your game, that was part of the cheat. Right?
Yeah.
In an era where people were like, yo, just search for, like, 2 girls, 1 cup, see what happens. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you really had to trust the internet, and this one was ridiculous. This is obviously bullshit.
Yeah.
And it worked. Like, a good chunk, 70% of the time, this would fix it.
I would never have guessed it. I would have just been like, stop trying to fucking
This is one of those stupid internet things. Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Stop it.
Yeah.
By the way, Alpha, how's it going? Thank you for the happy recording day message you just sent. Yeah, so that's the whole situation going on there. I wonder what will happen now, because that number clearly isn't shared. The decline in base game sales clearly isn't shared with all publishers and everything like that. The bigger publishers, they've got enough people on their staff and they're smart enough to work out that this was the truth all along. That's the reason why Activision didn't do it. That's the why Rockstar doesn't do it. That's the reason why Ubisoft doesn't do it.
But the little guys who make Abe's Odyssey don't understand this.
This is the thing. Now, they do have a slightly different situation where they're looking for money wherever they can get it from. Yep. So that early cash injection is good for them. But what if you're in the middle? What if you're Eidos Montreal and you had your Guardians of the Galaxy come out?
Yep.
Oh, they come up to you with a check. Well, that check's pretty alluring.
You probably do need it.
But
you could really use it to get this game finished, polished, and marketed properly.
And it's part of the when you're talking in business senses, if you're building a restaurant and it costs you, I'm going to say a stupid number, it probably costs more than this, 20 grand. And then someone comes up to you, it's like, I really like your idea for this restaurant. I want to be investor in this. I'm going to take a part share in it, 40%, whatever it is, 20 grand here. You're already broken even. You're like, well, I've lost nothing. That's a good thought to have as a businessman. I've lost nothing in this, and I'm going to get to open my shop tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you could have all of these sales, all these extra things on top.
Yeah, and it's hard to turn down Game Pass just because of the sheer numbers, and then you're reporting back to your stakeholders, to your shareholders, to your managers, to your investors. This is what, and a lot of them will be very early on easily placated by seeing 3 million downloads.
Yeah.
Wow, 3 million downloads. This project was a good use of money. And then when it turns out it didn't make quite the money you're expecting. Why didn't it make money? Well, look, we can't guarantee that. You knew we were on Game Pass, and we report it was incredibly successful. If that's great for our brand, just happens we're on Game Pass. Yeah. And then it's easier to smooth that over because they already agreed to it. They already told you and admitted that 3 million downloads was an incredible... That's a low number. I think that's exactly the Abe's Odyssey number, by the way. Yeah. That's why I picked that number. And then, the problem is those smaller guys, they look at it and they're expecting this big cash influx that's going to let them make the next project. And that's where it falls down. Because it was enough to get him to make the project. He couldn't have made it without it. But he has no money to make the next one.
Yeah.
Because he didn't make any. Even though the game was well downloaded.
Played by a bunch of people.
And also... it actually wasn't played by that many people. It was downloaded.
That's a good point. I downloaded it. I didn't play it.
Right, because it's a Steam sale.
Yeah.
It's so cheap. Why wouldn't you get it? How many of those PS collection, not PS collection, the PS Plus, PSN Game of the Month thing, how many of them have you played? Because all of them are in my library, and I've played 0.
Yeah, probably nothing. I mean, the only time I have played them, I'll tell you this, is when I bought the game physically, and maybe I sold it or traded it in for something else, and then it went on the PSN, PlayStation Plus, and I downloaded it. I was like, I really want to go back to that game.
That doesn't count. It's a game you already have.
I was going to say, I bought it before.
It's a game you already have. Like
I did that with Jedi Fallen Order. I bought it, and then I didn't have the disc anymore, and I went, oh, I'm going to go platinum that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I did. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get this.
Right.
Trophies win you this. That's direct proof there.
Facts. Trophies give you free trips to LA.
Exactly. Trophies are the best, and anyone who says differently is just stupid. Yeah, so that's
There's people who like trophies, and there's people who high-five Ellie. So, you picked your side.
I'm not.
Good luck explaining that when you're trying to get into heaven. I'll be behind the gates. Ah ha ha.
Fuck. Could you imagine? It's like,
suck it, bruv.
so, I see here you didn't eat pork. That's good, right there.
Oh, never mind. I'm coming back out. Wait. What was that you said about bacon? What was that you said about bacon? But I don't even want to be in here. Didn't want to be here in the first place.
In case there's anyone that doesn't know, is I don't believe in anything now, but I was raised in a Muslim household, so it was very no bacon, obviously, stuff like that. Alcohol though, anything, gambling, no problem.
The first time I met your dad,
sex before marriage, no problem.
I think it was your dad. It was your dad, your uncle, and maybe your brother. They were gambling over backgammon, drinking ouzo or something like that.
Yeah.
It was, and I was like, "But I swear you said you was Muslim." He's like, "No, you go. No, we're Turkish Muslim." I was like, "Oh,
this is in between. In between our prayers, we can do anything we want."
You was making it halfway through, like all the females at uni. Do you know what I mean? You're like trying to get to all of them. I'm like, you're going to all the girls at uni. These bros are gambling, drinking, talking about girls.
As I was saying, in between our prayers, we can do whatever we want.
Right.
Our prayers just happen to be, I think the last one was when I was 2, and then the next one, I don't know when it is scheduled, but that's going to happen.
Anytime in between.
Anytime in between is totally fine. It's cool. God turns a blind eye. Anyway, so yeah, I'm wondering now how often, because of they have to be so open with the CMA if they want to get this deal to go through. I wonder how that's going to affect deals in the future now. I wonder how many developers, how many publishers are just going to be like, we know this could fuck us up.
Yeah.
I mean, we might take the chance. And I mean, PlayStation gamers, they buy games. And why can't you guys just do the same?
The other thing is, I bet there's a lot of knock-on.
Go on.
Meaning that I don't think anyone's probably... I doubt anyone's done a study on this, but why would you buy a collector's edition for a game you're getting for free? Unless you're like you and me.
This is the thing. There was no collector's edition for Halo Infinite. And I was like, this is your marquee game. This is your number one IP.
You think people aren't motivated enough to buy... If they remasters the original Halos 1, 2, 3, chuck in Reach and ODST, right? And they're untouched. Yeah, probably.
I'd
probably buy it.
They added that grappling hook for the thing. Would you not have bought a gauntlet with a grappling hook on top of it like that?
Yeah,
Master
or like
Chief's
a statue
gauntlet?
of Master Chief, like shotgun, sort of Doom-esque. Yeah.
Crazy.
Assuming the game was good.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I would never have done because of...
But that's the thing. Internally, they're not bullshitting themselves internally. They were like, look, we don't sell games. We don't sell games. Our whole idea, we've given people too many options not to buy games.
Yeah, too many ways around it.
Exactly. So... making this is pointless. So it has got a knock-on effect.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something really stupid. This is the stupid part of the internet, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Do you know what a bunch of people have been saying when the CMA report came out? Obviously, people were saying, oh, well, PlayStation are talking to the CMA and PlayStation are influencing them and telling them what to say and telling them what to do to block this deal. As if PlayStation has any influence over the government or whatever.
Well, also as if PlayStation is anywhere near the money Microsoft does.
Right.
Like, let's be honest. The small dog in the fight is Sony. Like, to be clear, Microsoft's Azure servers, the servers alone in 2020 made more than Microsoft made as a company in 2016, 2017. It's like something like $90 billion. The servers alone. The servers alone. Don't forget, Microsoft is a software provider. They manufacture products, phones, tablets, computers.
Yeah. Huge.
And the servers alone. And go back in time and think about Microsoft in 2016. Massive company. Probably one of the most successful companies of all time. The premier computer
But PlayStation
company.
is outbidding them. I'm paying
the servers alone did what outpaced 2016 Microsoft, one of the healthiest companies ever. So, I don't buy it, but I would be more inclined to buy it if we weren't seeing the Microsoft internal stuff.
Right.
The Microsoft internal stuff completely corroborates everything that the SEC is saying, the CMA are saying, we are saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's bullshit. What I do hope is that they ask for a real good breakdown, because realistically, number of Xbox consoles is going to have an impact on number of Game Pass users. It's going to have an impact on the sales. So if we get that, we might actually finally find out how many Series X and S's have been sold.
I'll finally see the health of the company. Now, people were saying that, PlayStation is doing that. If this deal gets blocked, Activision could very easily turn around and block Call of Duty from PlayStation and just have it exclusive on Xbox.
Wait. Sorry. Just wait. Hold a minute. Wait. So the argument is.
The idea is that the Activision is like a grandma writing a will, and when she passes, she's gonna spite everyone out of the will and go, forget all this money we're making over here.
It's worse because. So the idea.
It's a bad ex-girlfriend.
Is that if
this deal doesn't go through,
if EA
and
or Activision,
and if Activision don't get the money, the 70 billion to be bought.
If Activision, perfectly healthy company on its own, not in any dire straits or anything like that,
right,
profitable, it's the reason that Microsoft want to acquire them. If this deal doesn't go through, they would, to spite PlayStation, which has no direct impact whatsoever on this deal going through, it's whether or not it's a healthy deal, and is causing a monopoly, which arguably and quite reasonably some people say it would, I'd be in that group, that they would then turn around and basically attack financially the only place wherein they can make money.
They're like, our 80% of sales that come from PlayStation, drop it. We don't care about that money anymore. We don't care about it anymore. We're just gonna sell to the 10% of people that buy.
But they don't buy. But they don't buy.
We're gonna go to our shareholders and we're gonna say, so next year we're forecasting a 90% drop in profits.
Yeah.
We're actually
to
going to
justify that. Well, so I can see why.
But we really dislike PlayStation.
You have to understand, these 150 million consoles, okay, they're no good.
No good, no.
Because Japan bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yes. Are you anti-America? God, we only just realized today that Japan, the stupidity. And then another argument was like, well, they're just like, well, they can just do what they were going. No, this is the argument. They were going, well, Bobby Kotick came out and he said, if the deal doesn't go through, I will stay as head of the company. And people were like, you see, if this deal doesn't go through, a guy who allowed abuse under his watch will still be at the head of Activision. It's like,
what was the abuse that happened?
Basically, a bunch of people got like sexually abused apparently, and there's a lot of like bad culture there, and apparently it all happened under his nose. Not as quite as bad as like Yves Guillemot, I should say.
Yeah, I do remember.
Like Yves Guillemot directly fucking like he fucking moved people around. He knew about everything, but this all happened under his watch, so he's held accountable for it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And people were saying that this was his golden parachute. That's why he wants to get out of here, because he's just gonna get paid and leave. And he goes, "I'll stay otherwise." People are like, "So hold on a minute. Your idea is that Sony is influencing this so bad, they really should just allow the deal to go through, just so we can get rid of Bobby Kotick, and all the other repercussions should just be allowed."
Also, by the way,
whatever.
I just want to. I think people don't understand. Yes, it would be a massive payday for Bobby Kotick.
Yes,
when acquired. Not like he's working on minimum wage at the minute, though.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Feel like... Also, if the deal doesn't go through, you still have stakeholders, shareholders, investors who need to know that there is stable leadership in place, who you would then say, the stable leadership is in place.
I was going to say, do you think that it's just like, you can't... There's nothing else you can do? Like, Microsoft... We must have Microsoft here to save us, to buy this company. Otherwise, there's nothing else we can do.
And Microsoft famous for its good management.
Right, exactly. Anyway,
this is so strange.
I went under those comments, and it was literally one of those moments where you're reading it, and you're like,
are my glasses right? Hey Siri, check my glasses prescription.
because I couldn't take it. Oh boy. Anyway, that's the Xbox portion of the podcast right there.
And this is the thing: is like it genuinely isn't us shitting on Xbox because we've got nothing to talk about. It's that they keep putting themselves in this position, and do you know what makes it so much easier? They just made some good games.
Yes.
That's all they would have to do.
Because you could, there's some stuff that Sony does, and then we're like, fuck, I really hate the fact they did that.
And we call it out, by the way, every single time and have done.
And we try to avoid that thing as much as possible, because if we avoid their games as well, which are good games, then we'd sacrifice. What is it? Spiting our nose to bite our face, or what's
something like that. Cut off your nose to spite your face.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we're hurting ourselves more than we're hurting them.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything inherently evil, so it's not that bad.
It's very similar to the whole Harry Potter boycott thing.
Yes.
Where it's like, okay, there's one thing you don't like, but should you miss out on the game, and should you punish people that aren't actually directly involved in the thing you don't like as your only way to do the thing? In this case, I argued anyway, in this case, for the Harry Potter thing, probably not really going to affect anything. And in the same way, like we're not buying, well, you got the free year, but like we're not paying for the PS bullshit, right? Certainly not at that level. Because frick that. Yeah. And when they recategorize a PS5 game as like a PS3 game or something and put it in the
dumb shit.
That's stupid. Shit. That's stupid. And the worst thing is, we were like, this is a great move, great goodwill. Yeah. It's targeting all these people, and then you go and mess with it.
Makes us look stupid as well.
It's stupid. There's a fly. Go away, fly.
Anyway, that's the Xbox cannibalizing games using Game Pass.
Who could have ever guessed that?
It's such a shock right there, bro.
Yes.
This is the True Gamer Podcast. Come into your eyes and ears every Sunday now.
Sometimes.
Yeah, every other Sunday, isn't it? Every other Sunday here at youtube.com/Conbrosations1. And on podcast services around the world. You just need to search for the True Gamer Podcast and you get us in your eyes and your ears wherever you go. If you want to keep the lights and mics on here, if you really like what we do and you want to support us, you can head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations and kick us a couple of bucks a month, just like our true gamers have at the $5 tier. Adam the High Quality Potato, Gams Master, Sheps is Crusty Right Nut, Isak Manny, Mikey T, Sab2557, Joe McCormack, Gerald Tucker, Fishy, The Jackal, Adam Sunling, Max H, Alpha Aquelele, Cobra SS, Sam Mason, and Super Whale Ben. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on.
Alpha tweeted about someone who said Alpha while it was out and around, and he turned around. And I was like, why? It's not like they said Aquila! Exactly. So they obviously weren't talking to you.
If someone says Alpha, it could be Alpha Male. Could be talking about Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Or me playing Dungeons and Dragons.
True that.
Basically the same thing.
But when they say Aquila, then you know. Like,
you know exactly.
Someone call me?
Right.
But guys, if you don't want to kick us a couple of bucks, if you think we're just not good enough, or if you just don't have the money, if you don't care.
The same way we accurately figured out the worth of Microsoft, you've accurately figured out the worth of us.
Exactly. If you have done that, that's cool. That's no problem. We love you just the same. You can just head over to YouTube. You can give us a like on the video. You can subscribe to the channel. Yeah. You can rate us 5 stars on podcast services. Those kind of things help us out so much.
They do.
We really appreciate it. Really appreciate it right there. What else we got now? Okay. Bro.
Yes.
I'm going to talk to you about God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
So, spoilers for the game, this part.
It's been out for 2 months?
2 and a bit months now, so it's been enough.
Yeah.
But this went round in the news.
Thanos kills Loki.
God of War Ragnarok story almost gave Kratos a very different fate at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I saw this.
In an early draft of God of War Ragnarok, Kratos was originally going to die at Thor's hand early in the game, according to narrative director Matt Sophos, Thor would kill Kratos during their fight at the beginning of the game. It wasn't a permanent. This is him speaking now. It wasn't a permanent death. He would get pulled out of hell, essentially, by Atreus. But now 20 years have passed.
That's cool.
He explained this in an interview with MinMax. However, the outline didn't stay around for long, as it didn't feel right to the development team. Kratos came back from death plenty of times in previous games, so they decided to go with the one they went now, and that's all the information there.
That's a little... I agree with that sort of well-trodden ground. So my suspicion, it's never really been confirmed, but my suspicion is that Kratos' like god power, if you will, is that he's as strong as he needs to be. Which is why like he can get beaten by Thor early on, and then when he decide, like if the second Atreus is actually in danger, suddenly like
musters the power.
Right. So, and it's sort of one of those self-fulfilling things. Like I also think we see Thor heal from wounds, but he doesn't heal from Kratos' wound.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they are... Sorry, we'll get to the actual topic. But I think it's because Thor and Kratos basically see themselves in each other because they're effectively the same person, right? Kratos was Zeus's Thor. He was used as muscle early on and then turns against him. And the only reason that Thor is what Kratos would have become had he just not turned, and Thor sees in Kratos what the freedom he could have if he turned on his father, but then it means turning on his family and the Aesir, and there's so much there. And so that wound sticks around more because it's a wound almost from himself.
Can I tell you why I think that wound is still there? Do you remember in God of War 2018 how the serpent, the world snake, was summoned?
The poison.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the original prophecy is that the poison from the world serpent's bite kills Thor.
Yeah.
And when you get the axe back, it says like Etir imbued.
Yeah.
And that never comes up ever again. And then it just happens to be the strike that gets Thor in the stomach he seems to not be able to heal from.
The only reason I didn't think it was that, but I like totally see that point, is because
it never comes up ever again.
It never comes up ever again, but I could see that being this little like Easter egg. The only reason I don't think it happens is because no one makes any comment of Thor being weaker or weakened somehow. He just has this cut, which Thor's had plenty of cuts.
Yeah.
And two, it's, spoiler alert, Odin that kills him, not Kratos. Whoa! It's not Kratos. It's not Loki. It's not Atreus. However you want to look at it. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna assume this is one of those like actualization things.
We need to have this spoiler cast discussion, by the way. I keep thinking about when to do it. We need to get that planned somehow because I feel like this would be really cool discussion.
We will, but unfortunately, we have this.
We're on a fucking time schedule. I told Mario that he could talk with us as well because he's a big fan of it as well.
Yeah.
He's just waiting. He's just like, hey, I'm just here, guys.
Mario's busy as well. I mean, it's not like he's got a ton of free time.
It's true. He's out there being jealous of me with my lightsaber.
That's right. Get fucked, Mario.
He was so happy for me, though. He was like, bro, really? What? Oh, my God, I can't believe you did that. Oh, so he was really cool about it.
Yeah, that is cool. What was the topic, sorry?
It was the alternate version of the game.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. And it would have been cool because then you would have had to have dealt with the fact that... So, like, the big part of the first game is Kratos trying to open up to his son and trying to adapt to living with a child alone, single father, and how to raise a kid and how to teach him to be good.
And importantly, very important addition to that is all of that, but from the perspective of everyone he's ever loved has either died, been killed, or he's killed.
Yeah.
And the only thing he's ever actually been good at is destroying things, bar none. Exactly. He's not come close to anything else that he's good at. He was a Spartan warrior. He's went through the entire Greek pantheon, right? Beat death multiple times. Like, the guy is the destroyer, and now he has this this child, even a godchild, but so like a child. Zeus couldn't stand up to this guy. Here's a kid who's sickly. Like, man, is that some weight? And by the way, I love that. You can see it when he like, there's that scene on the boat where he goes to touch Atreus, but then pulls his hand away because it's like. Also, you see Christopher Judge in that and in it, and you're like, man, that kid is tiny.
Yeah.
And that's Zeus slaying, freaking God of War, Kratos.
Yeah.
Like if he touches that kid, he could kill that kid with a finger.
He could break.
He could just put his finger through the kid's skull, dead. Right? Like this he kills the unkillable boulder.
Yeah.
Right? Effectively. Like I could see why you wouldn't want to be touching, even to comfort your son. Like you put your hand on that shoulder, you might break his shoulder. It could happen.
Now imagine all of that he tried to do and only just about get close enough to doing that. Yeah. And then he comes back 20 years later. So what? He's like 30 years old, 33 years old, something like that. You've entirely skipped all of his childhood, all of him growing up, becoming a man. And then you have this man in front of you. Like, what kind of a relationship is that going to be? How is that going to affect their relationship? Is he still going to be the boy? Is he still going to be like that commanding figure for him, even though this is a man standing in front of you who's had his own experiences, survived all this time against the Aesir gods, whatever it is, what that would have been like, that would have been quite crazy.
My pitch for this game, before we knew anything about it, was that they go on the run from Thor and go to like other lands, so you get to fight other gods and stuff. And then in the 6th game, you come back and realize you can't escape Ragnarok, can't escape Thor, you have to come back. I would still like to see that adult moment, though. And I could see, because we've been told this is the last of the Viking era, the Norse saga. But we also know there's a future for Kratos, and one that he never envisioned. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of like standalones where it's like you don't do a whole series in Egypt, but Kratos goes to Egypt, but it's not in the Kratos game. It's in the next game, which is a Loki game.
Right.
Loki's finished doing whatever he's doing, and he's done being Loki, and he hears that a god with a red mark has been taken prisoner by like the Egyptian gods somehow. And the somehow is, well, Kratos has nothing to fight for. His son's off doing something else, so he's not really giving it his all. And then you come and your first game as Loki, or Atreus, have you adult Atreus, is you've learned all these new skills and magic and stuff, and you go to Egypt, and you're not like your dad. You're not a destroyer. Except that these guys have kidnapped your dad.
And it's awakened inside you.
And your dad is Kratos. And we're not going to fuck around.
Yeah.
So I could see that being really cool. And then you get to rescue Kratos meaningfully. And then we get to see you probably do that 75% of the way through the game. And then that last bit, you probably would switch over to Kratos. And we get that perspective of like, we've got to see Atreus as an adult, but now we're getting to see him as our son who's grown up.
Yeah.
And he's just made an enemy of these gods that were strong enough to take you at least out of the picture for a minute. Looks like Ra's going to have to get his head caved in, you know? And that's how you would end that game, and then you probably go on to another probably Kratos-centered game. That's how I would do it. And then we get that Loki game, and we still get to have Loki rescue, or Atreus. I think of him as Atreus, but I guess he's kind of Loki-fied. Like, Atreus gets to rescue Kratos, and it's real. And then Kratos gets to do what he does really well, which is keep Atreus safe by killing some other freaking gods.
Yeah.
And we're in like the ancient Egypt because time's a bit funky.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that would be cool. And then maybe the two of them go off and you'd pick your final resting place for the series of maybe Japan, maybe Africa. African gods would be dope.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, that's me just playing with the thing. But I do love that idea of Atreus rescuing Kratos. I don't think it would have made sense in these two games.
I was trying to think about it in terms of how the time skip thing would work, because if you go to hell, time moves a lot more slower on Midgard.
Yeah.
So what is like a minute over there is like hours over in hell. So the time loop doesn't work, because unless he's been down there for 1,000 years, which would be really insane, but that's how that.
I mean, gods. Do you think Kratos ages?
A bit. I mean, he has changed a little bit, right?
I think that's him thinking he's matured, though.
Maybe.
I think
that's peak physical form. Dad bod.
It really is. Yeah, that's what girls love. Dad bods. Exactly. It's a fact. No, I do think Kratos will be as old as he feels.
Yeah.
I don't think he can actually age.
They made I mean, if they were, in a way, it's kind of a mistake that they made him age a bit in like terms of his body and whatnot from the Greek pantheon, because then it shows there is a progression. And if he's gone this far already, I mean, the next game if he's gonna be older, then he's gonna almost be an old man, and then he's gonna be even older in the next game. I don't know how that's gonna work, but
I mean, there's other things. So like, you noticed, maybe you did or didn't notice, but in these more recent games, the ashes are less apparent.
Yeah, it's less pure white.
Yeah,
than it is.
And like there's a theory that I would tend to agree with, which was that he was cursed with Greek magic, and he's destroyed Greece or the Greek pantheon, and we know that he doesn't have access to his old powers because the pantheon doesn't exist anymore. He killed the magic.
He does say that that's the right. He doesn't have access to his old powers and his old moves because it was tied to the land, and the land's destroyed. Would make sense.
And so then maybe the magic in the curse is fading, or maybe he's just sort of learning to forgive himself, and again, I do genuinely believe if he chose to not be cursed, he's strong enough to be like, yeah, this curse doesn't affect me anymore, and he's more powerful than the curse, and it wouldn't. I think he is still punishing himself for it. That's one of the reasons, but he's also letting himself love Atreus. That's why I also feel that throughout that game, you see more of his skin color under it. I think he's whiter at the beginning than he is at the end.
I don't know. I definitely feel you though. It does feel less than like what. Granted, the other games were on like PS3 and stuff like that, but it does.
Yeah,
feel
it could
like,
just be an artistic choice.
Yeah, they probably tried to make him look a little bit more
human,
realistic.
Yeah. He looks a bit weird when he's just like straight white.
Pure
with the
white. It's like,
red.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're hard to look at in the sun. It's like, God.
Up on that mountain, just.
Anyway. Yes,
how would you do it if you were making the next game?
So I have a theory of what the next game is.
Okay.
But then again, some of my biggest theories were wrong from my channel.
But they were still good.
They were fucking good.
Yeah.
And everyone loved them.
We discussed this a few times about time travel and that being a thing. From what we knew, that made perfect sense. And they didn't do a real history. They did Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
Like, that isn't how it actually went.
Yeah. So I have a theory that the next game will be an Atreus-led game. It'll be like something in between, not necessarily like a full-fledged game. It'll be discovering some more of the giant magic. We will see Faye a bit better in this, so it'll be a bit more of a discussion.
I really feel like
she comes back.
I feel like we could have seen a lot more of Faye.
That's the thing. I feel like we didn't see enough of Faye, and I think that's because she's going to come back. That her ashes actually sparkling and on when they were left actually did mean that she was coming back. There was some magic tied to that. She does come back. She surprises Atreus one day. It's a big old family reunion. They talk about their father. They talk about everything. I'm guessing that they try to like reunite people. There's still some some threat out there, whatever it might be. They try to go to other realms to try and unite people, etc., etc. And then at the end of that, towards like the last 25%, Kratos shows up. Kratos is with you on the last part of the journey, fighting for everything. And then that's when the Egyptian gods come in, because they've seen. Well. I think so.
Yeah, and there's the coolest gods left.
Exactly.
It?
The Egyptian gods come in, I guess, after seeing the destruction of what's happened in these lands.
He's taken out Greece. He's taken out the Aesir.
And they're making the offensive decision to go after him first. They take him away from Atreus, and that's how he gets transported to the lands of it. Or it could be that Atreus gets taken away, or Faye gets taken away, whatever it might be, and Kratos has to go after them into the Egyptian lands.
This is a very short game. If Kratos comes back into the picture, and the first thing Atreus says is, "Dad, Mum's back," and the Egyptian gods have her, It's a 10-minute game. He flattens Egypt. There's no, like, you know how he always gets stronger at the end? You think, man, Kratos, why weren't you this strong at the beginning of the game?
Yeah.
He's going to flatten all of Egypt.
He's just going to do it.
You're going to get to Egypt. It's going to be nothing but forests. 10 minutes into the game, it's pure desert. You know? That's what it's going to be.
Shit, so that's how the deserts came about. It was actually forest before.
Yeah.
That's my theory on what could happen. Obviously, there's a million ways it could go down. There's not even a confirmation of this happening.
Of course.
The only thing that makes me think that there is going to be a little like Atreus side game is that Cory Borlog was talking with a few people after they had their concerns about all these questions that were left unanswered.
Yeah.
And they were like, what about, like, how is the serpent thing done like that? It seems a little like it was a bit rushed, blah, blah, blah. Who blew the horn? What happened to that? And then he answered a bunch of things, and he goes, and well, the horn... Well, that's a question for another game. And I was like, well, hold on a second. This was supposed to be the end of the Norse saga. So I'm thinking they were...
It's Atreus, by the way. Spoiler alert. Or Agraboda, spoiler alert.
It has to be, right?
It's one of them.
I was like, so maybe they're trying to do the Cory Borlog trolls. Maybe they're just
he does
straight lying because there's no reason for them to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It could just be more fun to not let you know what's going on.
And he is a troll. And he also has the sense of humor where he could be like, I'm just going to lie about it. It'll be funnier to only me.
Right. That's what he does. And then, or it could be that he was just being like, yeah, this is the end of the Norse saga. Well, technically this happens within that last bit, so it's technically the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that is right there. Anyway, I'll tell you what was funny. We got a tease a couple of days before the Super Bowl on the Canadian Instagram account.
Why do they do this? This is the bit I don't get.
Like the main Instagram account, not good enough.
You know, look,
everyone pay attention to the Canadian
for a huge long lead up that, man, Sony's really getting it. You know, when they first put out E3, when E3 was still a thing, and we were like not sure about it, but maybe suddenly they have all this attention, and it turns out they were right. They've been right. And then they do this.
Strange, right?
Or tweet something at 2 a.m. on the Japanese Twitter. Like, what are you doing?
In like a weird dialect that no one understands.
Right.
Anyway, they teased. They were like, "Oh, Thor's hammer in the middle of a football pitch," and like Midgard predicts that there's going to be a fall this Sunday, this day, and it happened to be Super Bowl day, and you could tell it was like a Super Bowl stadium in the background.
Yeah.
Again, Canada, are they in the Super Bowl?
No.
So what? Weird. I don't get it.
Yeah. American sports where you can have the World Series and only invite yourself.
Only America.
Yeah.
World Series. Well, I mean, in the confines of the USA.
If you think about alien invasion films, then it's the whole world.
Exactly. Anyway, they did that tease, and then M1 Post, whatever it was, with this website, reached out to Sony. He's like, yo, what's going on? And they're like, keep your eyes peeled on Sunday's game. You might want to watch that for some fan favorite PS5 games. And people are like, oh, they've put Thor's hammer. Maybe there's going to be an announcement. I don't know why there would be an announcement at the Super Bowl. Like, half of these people don't care about games. Some people do.
That's the bit where I was like, you know, they know their target demo and when they will be interested, and this isn't it.
But regardless, all of us God of War fans, including myself, who made a video, I was like, oh, this is it, guys. We're doing it. This is the time when we get DLC. DLC. We're going to get an expansion. There's a Atreus-led game. Yeah. Prepare everyone. I'm right. Some people were like, it's going to be New Game Plus. I'm like, okay, look. My idea is stupid, but yours is even stupider.
Yeah, what are you...
Like, could you imagine that the Super Bowl in the middle of all those ads and stuff like that, just before like Rihanna goes,
famous for being famously good.
New Game Plus for God of War Ragnarok. All these people, what the fuck is New Game Plus? What is New Game Plus?
How many people in that stadium? 60,000 drunk football fans wanting to watch Rihanna twerk and some next like Chevrolet pickup truck ads.
Right. New Game Plus coming to God of War Ragnarok.
Look at this half-naked man.
I have no idea what I'm looking at. Anyway, it was just a PlayStation ad.
Yeah.
And it was the weakest source ad ever. It was like...
They're usually so good as well.
Right, it was just... I mean, like, all the ads at Super Bowl are usually quite funny. I didn't hear anything particular about this year's one, so maybe they weren't that good in general.
Yeah.
But... it was so funny. It was just King Batch, you know, the YouTuber guy, ex-Vine guy. He's like, pretending to be a reporter. There's a storm going on in Midgard. Is that a storm's taking place? And then Kratos just
walk out.
zips by like that. And then I'm like...
It's like him and Atreus sort of run past as if they're going onto the pitch. And that was it.
Live from PS5. $10 million well spent.
Yeah, those ads aren't cheap.
They're not cheap.
Those ads are not cheap.
So what is this? I mean, like, our ideas were dumb, but that was dumb.
That was really dumb.
Dumb spent of money, man.
That was really dumb.
Oh, God. Anyway, that was a hilarious moment in the community right there.
Yeah, that's one that I could not understand. You know?
I love how...
so stupid.
We all just got... The thing is, it was harmless, so we all just got behind it. We're all just like, yes, we're doing it, guys. Let's do it.
Then this is the way you do it, is you... Shit, I wish I'd have thought of this. Should have gone through all of my replies for Xbox and been like, ha! Did you see that? Did you see that? At the Super Bowl, motherfucker!
We're at the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Don't see no Xbox Super ads.
Exactly.
Die and breed.
Too busy saving that money for the CMA fight.
Like, that was so stupid. It was so stupid.
I loved it. All right. Let's kick it over to some of our boys who wrote over on patreon.com/Conbrosations to have their comment read out first, just like you guys can. If you just kick us any amount of money over there.
I mean, not any amount.
I mean, you have
minimum
to
$50, obviously.
Yeah, minimum. $69 here.
Nice.
Gams Master writes in. Says, "G'day, bros. Hopefully I've submitted this just in time. You did it 2 days ago, so just in time.
Well, it would have been just in time for the original recording day.
Maybe, yeah, I guess so, yeah. Boys, I need to admit that I'm an addict." Oh no, he's coming out to us right here.
Well, we're here for you, bro.
We're here for you, don't worry, man. "I'm addicted to Hogwarts Legacy. I'm so surprised that it has grabbed my attention the way it has. I was just expecting another open world that follows the Ubisoft formula, but I have been pleasantly mistaken. I love the combat far more than I thought I would. I'm thoroughly enjoying exploring the world. Great so far. Bro, how are you liking Hogwarts Legacy at the moment?"
Yep. Uh-huh.
Do you like it on your PlayStation? The little logo.
Oh, yeah, of course. These guys don't know. I downloaded Hogwarts Legacy on my PlayStation. We game share. And I got this, like, super worried text from Ed being like, "Bruv!" In fact, I'll read what is safe for work, because in our private chats, we're very cancelable.
Yeah, don't.
"Blood, did you just download some games on PSN?" It's like, I was like, "Yeah, I added Harry Potter and whatever it was on the library. Why? Is the PS Store ratting a gamer out?" And you were like, "You caused me a heart attack. I got emails saying thank you for your purchase." And I was like, "Bruv, I'm so cheap I wouldn't spend your money on this."
Can I tell you what was going through my mind there? Because there was two things.
I go, it's literally easier to get fish to spend money on games.
The first thing that happened to me was like, I get the email, "Thank you for your purchase." And I'm thinking, oh, it's a spam or something like that. I open it up and I have a look at it. I'm like, this is legit. Oh my God, someone's stolen my card or something like that.
Right.
And I message you and then I'm like, oh God, wait, no. Hold on a second. It might be my my PlayStation VR headset taking the money because it's coming up to the pre-order date. So they said they're going to take the money close to the date. I was like, oh, that could be awesome. That means it's coming soon. Yeah. And then you go and tell me, no, actually, I've downloaded these things off of there. So I had the worry, the excitement, and then the disappointment, and just like, oh, God. And I was like, you don't know how intense the last 10 seconds were for me.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
God.
Anyway, I'm loving the game.
You loving the game, yeah.
Although I've seen people complaining, I just think it's people whining. They were saying that there were complaints about the combat and how it was like, looked like Dark Souls, but that as a complaint, meaning that like it's not good. Like the Dark Souls combat, like for me, I look at it as really negative. It looks clunky and dated, which it is, because it's that style of game you either like it or you don't, and it's not the combat, it's the reward that I beat it. That's the bit that you like about the combat, roughly speaking. So they were like, it looks like Dark Souls, but without any of the substance or difficulty or like reward. And I was like, man, that's a really harsh commentary.
I have a feeling these people haven't played the game. They're just making observations, and unfortunately, they're wrong with that. It's such a good game. I really like the combat.
Yeah.
I really like a lot of the game. I'm
gonna put a lot of hours on it tomorrow.
It's exactly what I said to you. What I think the game will be and why it will be so good.
Yeah.
It's all of the secrets of within.
Which here's the thing as well. I want to establish. So you really enjoy the movies and stuff, right? You're a Harry Potter fan-ish.
So what I said before about Harry Potter, was true. I hate Harry Potter.
Harry himself, yeah.
And all of his gang.
Oh yeah, with you.
Fucking.
I love a bit of Ron. But I'm with you.
I can't stand the ginger. Insufferable bunch of kids. They're just so whiny. They do dumb shit all the time.
With you.
However, the world is super fascinating.
World's incredible.
Right.
100% can't fault you there.
Yeah. And
I quite like the big three. You know, I like a bit of Hermione, Ron, Harry in sort of like book 3 and 4 are fantastic. And here's my thing is that for those of you that don't know, which I don't know why you would, but I'm severely dyslexic. Not just stupid, retarded as well. Right? And those are the books that I learned to read on. I was old, by the way, when I learned to read. I learned to read and write. I could write the alphabet and stuff, but I learned to like properly read at about 13.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was pretty old. And I managed to catch up and actually pass some GCSEs. Weirdly, I failed art, which you'd think, because I was basically just finger painting my whole way through school, you'd think I would have passed that.
You're just still doing nursery shit.
Yeah.
You could have easily passed off. It's like, well, this is an expression of my feelings towards society.
You just bullshit your way through that. And
they'll be like, yes.
So anyway, so I learned to read and write really quite late. And it was those books that were like that got me interested enough to actually finish a book. So I've got a real tender spot for Harry Potter. And then you find out that J.K. Rowling and I are on the same team when it comes to... Do you know what? You cancel me once, and I'm leaning into it.
I was about to make a joke because when you said that you find out J.K. Rowling says, and then you was even more on board when you went there before.
Yeah, just like obviously I can't wait to see the Flash movie.
Right, exactly. Yeah, all because of Ezra Miller and his stances.
That's right. Also, do you know what? Hold on. We'll come back to Harry Potter. Okay. James Gunn, have you seen the tweets about freaking Nebula? That's the guy we're supposed to trust with these decisions. Everything that's coming out, he's just stumbled into a good formula.
We're clearly the wrong ones. All these people that are
there's only so many 80s bangers you can put into the DC, right? The DCEU. I really do worry that most of the good stuff in that is stuff that he's not really involved in, like the soundtrack. Like, let's pay the money to get some 80s bangers. Add 5 points to your project, right? Because they're 80s bangers. And then you just make a couple of accidental good decisions. Nebula, the unwanted sister, let's bring her on board. Everybody loves Nebula. Everybody loves, I forget her freaking name, but she's fantastic.
Karen Gilligan?
Yeah, she's brilliant. Like, you got Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, like, that's perfect, right? Like, at that point, it's microwave rice. You can't really mess it up. Yeah. You can eat it raw.
Well, he did make those characters in the beginning. When I say make the characters, he made them super popular in the beginning. So I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, right.
Credit's true.
And then he makes the second movie.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then he does that to Nebula.
Yeah.
And then
The thing is, though, I think the Nebula thing's overblown. I think it's like the
it might just be a couple of bad shots.
I think it's like the you know how who's the people that run James Bond?
Yeah.
They came out and they said, "Oh, this black woman is 007."
Yeah.
And then everyone went, "Oh my god, it's all so progressive," but then that wasn't what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then it really
also we called that. We were like, no, that's not how it's going to work.
She's just a secret agent.
Yeah. 007 is a rank.
Yeah. And she rose to that rank. There was nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
But these guys were like,
you're making it a thing that it shouldn't be.
Anyway.
Talking about James Bond, by the way, people like, because I sort of complained
We've
about
gone very far off of Harry Potter now.
Well, it's to do with like storytelling and stuff.
Okay.
Though. Like, I guess complained about that because I was like, first of all, you've got it wrong. Second of all, it's not a problem. But we've been super in favour of like Idris Elba being the next James Bond. I think he'd be great at it. And the whole thing we argued was it's not hard. Same with getting Kratos to be Christopher Judge to be Kratos in the show. It's very easy to write in one tiny little thing and make it work, right?
We'll make Idris Elba white. That's it.
Yeah, well, he'll be a
Whiteface.
whiteface, obviously.
It's okay when it's the other way around.
Right. But like the James Bond thing, James Bond can be like an identity that you're given, and your actual identity's erased when you become James Bond. So James Bond never dies, right? In Halo, that no Spartan ever dies. They're always missing in action. It's one of those things, right? So they never lose for propaganda. Easy. Oh, then you got a black James. It doesn't matter. It's Idris Elba. He'll be amazing. Yeah. He'll be incredible. You think people don't want to see a salt and pepper Idris Elba all swathed up like Casino Royale-ing it? Hells yeah, they do. 100% smash.
I'm looking forward to that Luther movie.
Yeah.
That's going to be banging.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Besides
back to
the
Hogwarts
point.
Legacy.
Yeah.
I think Hogwarts Legacy is also fantastic. I agree with Gabs Master right here.
Yeah.
It is... It's all of those things that I said. The secrets that I was looking for.
How open world is it?
It's quite open. There are a few areas where, like, maybe you're going into a castle or something like that, and then one door you need to wait a few seconds to go into it. But it is available for you to explore.
Okay.
There are some odd
It's
things.
not like Cyberpunk where there's all these doors and you're like...
No. Everything's very open.
Okay,
You can
cool.
go into anything and everywhere. I tell you there's some odd, weird stuff. So they decided to make it that you can pet a cat in the game. And there are cats walking around all over the place because they're like pets for the...
That's a pretty wizardy, witchy...
There are owls everywhere as well, all kinds of stuff, right? You can pet a cat. You don't get anything for petting the cat. You don't get points, you don't get XP, you don't get love hearts. You just pet a cat. But here's the weird thing.
Yeah.
When you press the square button to pet the cat, it cuts to black. And then it bends down.
You petted a cat.
And then, no, not so much for smoking, but it pets the cat.
Yeah.
And then you stand up and it doesn't fade to black and you just carry on walking. And I don't understand these weird choices like that.
That's weird.
Because you don't
Also,
need to fade to black to come back up again. It's just something like that. And there are other technical weird issues as well with the game.
They missed a trick with the cat.
Go on.
Just stay on the cat real quick. One of the finest games ever made, Ghost of Tsushima, shows you that you want some interaction. I think they should have made that a do or die scenario where you stroke the cat. If you like stroke its belly, immediately dead. It just attacks you. Magic cat kills you. Start over from the beginning.
You can only touch it in these very specific spots.
Right.
Anywhere it doesn't want to be touched. Fuck you!
Right. Absolutely. And then
Claws you
the
to
difficulty
death.
of the game makes those affects the petting zones. That's how they should have done that. You missed a trick.
There you go.
You missed a
You'd
trick.
have to reparo yourself. The game is very, very good.
Yeah.
It's very, very beautiful as well. I really like that.
See, I had people complaining it looked crap.
No, this is so strange. There's a couple of... A Wired article, for example, gave it a 1 out of 10.
I think that's just... Realistically, right? It could look like OG Minecraft, and you've set it in that world. It's gonna be at least a 6 out of 10.
Right. This is the thing. They gave it a 1 out of 10, not because it was the game, but because of the social implications to do with it.
I can't take you seriously, though.
That's the thing. No, people have... They're a joke now. They're a joke. People know not to pay attention to Wired articles anymore.
We've been
you've done
telling
it to
you about
yourself.
journalists.
And I'm sure that a bunch of publishers are going to blacklist you now because they know that you're not objective. You can't keep your mind on the game. You keep your mind on other things. That's your choice though. Now,
how hard is it to just put at the very beginning, look, there are some very serious social implications about here, and as a journalist, I want to make my position clear very quickly to you.
Exactly.
However, my job is to look at what was being produced and to review that.
Because at the end of the day, the game wasn't produced by her.
Yeah.
It was produced by all these hundreds of other people.
Yeah. The person that created this IP, I have serious, problems with their standings on certain issues. However, this game has been produced by these people. I'm reviewing this as a product, and these are my findings.
Yeah.
Right? Fine. VW is still good, even though they were made by that one guy in Germany.
Exactly.
You know?
So the game is very beautiful. It does have some weird things, like some of the facial animations sometimes can look a little bit wooden. Sometimes some of the eyes seem to go off just a little bit like that. And I'm like, you look odd.
That's pretty funny.
Professor Garlic, one of the hottest teachers I've ever seen.
I've seen you simping, yeah.
Just beautiful. Redhead and just... I'm a teacher's pet. That's That's what I am.
See, like, I'm saying redheads, but she's obviously got more character than Aloy because
exactly, far more already, far more. And there's this weird thing as well. So, like, do you remember? The new style of game rendering where it only renders what you're looking at, and then everything else in the background is like super low resolution, or sometimes not even there, and then it pops in when you turn around and whatnot. They've employed that same tactic in this, except to try and optimize the game.
Tell me you can't catch it on the.
You can. So in order to optimize the game so it can raise the FPS, they've narrowed it so far.
It's like 1 pixel either side. If you don't get your...
It's 1 pixel either side, and they've done the shadow and lighting even closer in. So it's in the actual part of the light. So the amount of times I'm turning and I see a light off to the side, and then it disappears afterwards because it realizes you're now looking at it. Or like a shadow appears out of nowhere. And I'm just like... I get why you did this, because you want the day one reviews to be like, oh, the performance is actually, the frame rate is a steady 30, steady 60, whatever it is. And then you're going to release an update later that pushes those zones out, but then it's going to drop the FPS a little bit more. And I'm like, this isn't good.
The other thing is you can't just push your focus zone out too far, because you will lose like objectives or something on the map, or you'll lose the HUD or whatever you're doing. So... crap.
But other than that, it is actually very good. It's got all these stairwells that move, paintings are constantly moving. The whole world is super interactive. So like all of the knights in armor are all like, when you walk by, they do like a stomp or like a turn to attention, or like put their hand out or something like that. All of the busts of like people's heads or something like that, they're all like looking at you as you walk by and stuff. Cool. There's papers flying around in the air. Students? Yeah, you can kill students totally. That's the best part of it.
So you can do American School Simulator. I don't know why I beef for them out so much.
I haven't been able to kill a kid. There was a blind kid that I really wanted to kill because he fucking pissed me off.
Because of his disability.
I was like, you are...
blind, and that's enough.
You're feeble. There was one guy who said that we should remove all of the mentally feeble.
Talking to VW.
And I agree.
What was I going to say? So, I kind of want to know. This is quite interesting. So, I haven't played the game, obviously. So, how does it work in terms of like your spell list? Do you get to? Is it sort of like God of War, where you pick the spells you got in your spell slots, and you can use any four at any time, but then you have to respec, or you can run through a list?
So you start off with just like basic ones. You start learning them as you go to classes and things like that. You've got a 4 slot, so you press R2 and you can press either any one of the face buttons to cast your spell. When you go beyond that 4, when you've got like now you've got 20 of them or something like that, which you start to rack them up. I think I've got like 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that. You've got. You can press R2 and then press down one of the face buttons of the like arrows. Yeah. And then it unlocks another 4 set. Yeah. And you have to select what those ones are. And then you've got a down, you've got another 4 set. You do have to spend attribute points to unlock those ones, but you get those. So I've got like a one that's like, okay, this when I'm exploring, I want Lumos, so I can get like a torch out, for example. I want Reparo, so I can repair something. I want Levioso, so I can do that. And then
Levioso.
Well, the thing is, in the game, it's got Levioso. That's what they call it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a little bit pissed off by that.
I'm feeling actual aggression at that.
Exactly. You're going to play it and you'll see. And and anyway, and I've got another one where I've got like, okay, Expelliarmus.
Who teaches you your like Merkage spells? Who's like, yeah, here are the unspeakable spells.
Oh shit, there is one woman. I forgot what her name was.
Maybe don't tell me because it might be spoilers, isn't it? I don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
There you go. Anyway, it's really awesome. I really like it. Did you see my video that I made?
No, I don't watch your shit.
So I made a video and I put it on the conversation chat. It did quite well, actually. I made a video where I said Harry Potter hater plays Hogwarts Legacy.
No, I saw that because you spelt it Hatter on Twitter. I was just like, what kind of hats do you mean?
It's funny because I bet you nobody would have even said anything if it was just hater. People were like, oh, okay, I'll wait for that video to come out, no problem. But then everyone was like, ha! Hatter! Are you mad, Hatter? I was like, oh, god damn it, this was my life. Anyway, I made the video. I think it turned out quite well. Go watch it on the Conbrosations channel.
I'm never watching it. I don't laugh.
I start off just like, oh man, this game's crap, and I don't want to be like another four-eyed loser. I don't want to be like another four-eyed loser playing, and I do all the things.
Please tell me at the end you finish cosplaying with like the glasses, this lightning bolt.
Genuinely, I was looking on Amazon to see if I could get like a Harry Potter scarf, pair of glasses, and just like do a little bit of makeup like that.
So
and
look, I've been playing for a few hours now, and it's not quite as bad as I initially thought.
Maybe I should do that TikTok video where it's like, one day before playing Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
2 days after playing Hogwarts Legacy. 1
It's
week
Leviosa!
after playing Hogwarts Legacy.
You should do that. Now, the thing that I really want to know, I think we've established this is my thing, is can I be bigoted towards house elves?
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, you can stroke the cat. Can I kick one in the nuts?
No, you
Can I
can't.
kick him down the stairs?
No, unfortunately not. Do you know, I don't remember the house elves are so fucking nice. And they're so strange because they shouldn't be. They're slaves!
They are slaves.
And you go down to the
They're
meal
worse than slaves
preparation
because
area.
imagine American slavery, except they're all fully armed. Right? Because house elves have some big magic.
Yeah,
they
they
do
do.
some stuff.
But they're just magically bound not to be able to do anything about it. Anyway, they're so cheery. I go down into the kitchen for this one particular mission, and they're all just preparing dinner and all this stuff like that. They're just being slaves, worked to the bone. And they're like, oh, a student, are you hungry? Do you want me to get you something? No problem, don't worry about it. I'm like, bitch, you a slave.
What they should do...
Be unhappy.
I want DLC where there's like...
This is why slavery exists today. God.
I want DLC where like students start dying and no one's sure why. And one of the house elves is poisoning the food or something. Let's get some of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Start a whole like conspiracy and shit in the background.
Also, I want a Paragon/Renegade system where I can like try and free the... Well, not free because that's sort of a Hermione thing in the books, but we're like pro house of, hey, you should treat better. And like just abusing them like a Malfoy-esque. You know?
Yeah, sorry, can you get me some punch, please? Thank you, mate. Like you say, can you get me some punch, you stupid elf?
Yeah.
And Past
like,
you
one...
take a sip. I didn't say...
As you drink, spit in his face.
I didn't say Hawaiian punch. just be the most biggest cut you can be.
Absolutely. And then it should be one of those things of like, okay, well, they don't let you into like the kitchen anymore. But Slytherin will let you in even if you're not a Slytherin because they love that you're really, really nasty to them.
Fucking cunt. I like it.
Do you pick the houses or can you randomize it? How does that work?
You ask a couple of you answer a couple of questions to the hat.
Yeah.
You say like, oh, I'm like this, I'm that, and he suggests one for you. But then you can choose whichever one you like.
What house are you in? Probably Gryffindor.
So this is the thing. I was given Slytherin.
Based.
And I was gonna go for Ravenclaw in the beginning because that was
no
my
one's
thought.
picking Hufflepuff. Fuck Hufflepuff.
Yeah, fuck you, Hufflepuffians. You know,
fuck off.
I was
Losers.
I think Sophie's a Hufflepuff. She's listening now. She's like, hey, whoa. I was gonna pick Ravenclaw, but because it gave me Slytherin, I thought I'd do the Harry Potter thing, and be like, not Slytherin, Please. Gryffindor. And then I pick Gryffindor. Oh. And then I look over, it cuts to the people on the Gryffindor table, and I'm like, these are the losers, it's the loser table. I picked the loser table.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Do you know how much of a difference does it make the house you're in? Is it just like sort of cosmetic where you're...
I suspect it's... I know the dorm room is different. I've seen the dorm room in each one. It looks drastically different each one. But I don't know how much of a difference it makes overall. I presume not much.
Yeah, I also... It's a bit reductive to just be like, Slytherin are the bad guys. Like, obviously at some point, Slytherin had some badass peeps in it.
Yeah.
Know? And Slytherin is... Also, like, imagine being like, we're going to make a school, right? And we got 4 houses. You got the jocks, you got the nerds, you got the other ones, and then these are the kids we suspect will probably do the shooting.
Yeah, these are the ones that are probably going to be mass murderers.
Right.
Probably we think that guy's that take down the world.
Yeah, like
no problem. We'll just put them in a house together.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just allow them to all plot together and do whatever they want to do.
Right.
This is not a good idea.
Yeah. Ravenclaw sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
And a bit of me wants to go Slytherin because obviously, you know, why not?
Yeah.
Well, they have the sickest dorm room by far.
It's all very dark in there.
It's very cool. Very wizardy. Very like castle-y, you know, whereas like the whole Gryffindor thing's a bit played out. It's just too much. Obviously, this is the hero's house.
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, Sophie's the only idiot that picked Hufflepuff, or allowed herself to be shoved into Hufflepuff. That's like that. You got Harry Potter. You're living under the stairs. He's like, oh, just get into the broom closet. Just please, stay away from the rest of the class. Get fricked, Sophie.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
What about like exploring the world? Could you like, do you get a broom? Can you like fly around and stuff, or is it only for certain missions and stuff?
At a certain point, you can buy a broom and you can use it whenever you're outside.
That's
and
cool.
fly around completely free, all up and down the world. You go all the way past Hogsmeade, past outside towns and stuff like that. It's all very freeing and stuff like that. It's very cool.
Do you see it as a game that you would do like the old GTA, just drive around observing?
I would say.
Would you be on your broom observing traffic lights and stuff?
To be fair, actually, I would be flying about, but there's not much to observe like on the ground.
Okay.
There are people walking around between like villages and stuff like that,
Right.
but they're not doing anything,
Okay.
so I wouldn't say anything like that. But it is very fun to fly around there. Yeah, I'm enjoying
Out
myself.
of 10?
I think it's like a 9. This is
Good
really
game.
good. It's
Cool.
really good.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. No, I mean, sorry, it's a 1. I can't. I can't
Nerds.
give it more than that because
Nerds.
of what J.K. Rowling did.
Nerds. Oh yeah, and J.K. Rowling.
That's it. Let me read over from Discord. Our boy Alpha Aquila wrote in and he said, Hogwarts Legacy. Eddie needs to be cancelled now. Because he is openly playing Hogwarts Legacy. I even caught him spending over a third of a waking day on it. Sheps has already been cancelled. This is a joke, he says. He goes, but seriously, it's always the vocal minority that screws up the justified message of the larger group. Both sides are valid, but it's never good to take sides, he puts in quotation marks, or you just end up in a mess. I agree. The most one can do is inform people of the situation so they can come to a decision on their own. But the reality of that is that not every company or individual can be fought in this way. So you've got to choose the causes that mean the most to you, if any. You'd think that Harry Potter fans would feel the most strongly against this, but it's because just because someone plays the game doesn't mean that they value their enjoyment over a product more than the basic rights of a certain group of people. In this case, the trans community. It can just seem like a vocal minority of those who feel more strongly about a complex situation, not me. More than anything, I just wish this kind of situation was just being paid to Ubisoft. This kind of attention was being paid to Ubisoft, but I'd never force it on anyone. That's the thing.
We made this point, didn't we?
Yeah, we did make this point. It was a very like noble effort in the beginning, and it was a way to like spread some awareness about something that people felt very passionate about. They felt like this was a worthy thing to talk about. It got very, very far away, and unfortunately, the only way that I could have seen that possibly being stopped are the people within that cause to keep those other people in check.
So let's stay focused on our issue.
Right, like you calm the fuck down because you're really kind of getting away from it right now. You're hurting yourself more than anyone else when you do things like that.
Also, and I think we discussed this well enough the first time, is that boycotting this game doesn't have any impact on the issue you're trying to impact. Mm-hmm. Whereas boycotting potentially Ubisoft has a bit more of an impact because your issue is Ubisoft itself. Your issue is not the game developer. It's not the IP. It's the creator of the IP who is already far, far removed from these products and is already a billionaire. You're not. So I don't think that they're like for likes. So definitely agree with Alpha. It's about picking your battles.
Yeah.
And I think a better battle to pick actually, DC. I do think it's a better battle to pick because Ezra Miller really kidnapped people.
I love how that's just being like just forgotten. It's like we're just not going to mention that anymore. Okay, there are people who still do mention it. Props to them and whatnot. But it's just like okay, we're just.
And then that guy is getting a movie specifically designed to destroy a great set of movies that came before it. So
it's all just all a bit strange. Tailgate writes in, he says, last minute Hogwarts Legacy thoughts. I am loving the game, and it's basically a dream game scenario for me. It looks amazing. I'm playing the game in graphics mode, and it still feels really smooth to play.
Gross.
To play, and its implementation of the haptic feedback in the DualSense is excellent. Truly makes me feel like a next gen game, even though it's a cross gen game. Is it cross gen? I didn't know.
How does it feel to like pull a bow?
Two things I want to say here. One, I started off playing in fidelity mode, and it's surprisingly smooth for me. A couple of people messaged me saying that it's really choppy for them. I feel like mine's in the like 40, 45 frames per second, even though it's on fidelity mode. People are like, oh no, it's like 10 frames a second. I'm like, okay, something's up here.
I wonder if maybe they have that, the blurring effect that can really mess with you.
Perhaps some depth of field or something
Depth
like
of field and... Is it motion blur?
Motion blur, that's it. Perhaps. I'm not sure what's going on
I find
there.
motion blur really obvious.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, it immediately sticks out to me. The second I change it and I do a pan, I go, oh, that's so much better. And I can't even tell you exactly what it is. All I can tell you is I notice it immediately.
Yeah.
And I'll often be like, this game doesn't look good. Let me just check.
Boom.
Yeah. So maybe try that.
This game doesn't feel good. Oh, it's not inverted. Okay.
Right, exactly.
And the other thing he mentions here, the haptic feedback on the DualSense is excellent, truly. Big agree. A couple of the most recent PlayStation games, like from PlayStation first-party IPs, I feel like they go light on the haptics.
I fully agree with you.
I'm like,
really
you're using them, but you could be using them a lot more.
Also, some of the haptic feedback's inverted to what it should be. So it's like the pulling the bow, for example.
Right.
Where, like, it's just back to front. It's not right.
Doesn't feel 100% on accurate.
Or, like, God of War. The axe should feel... You did a video or a TikTok or something where it's like, I want my controller to feel like it's trying to jump out of my hand. That's exactly how it should feel.
It feels like there's a dial, and it feels like PlayStation games from their own parties are like at 5, and it feels like Hogwarts Legacy is on 10. Yeah. When you're casting your spells and you're doing because you've got like one basic one that just shoots like energy. There's no spell to it. You just hit R2 and it goes pew, 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 and it's really cool. With the haptics on that, I'm like, this feels fucking great. This feels so sick. I feel so sorry for people who don't have a DualSense controller. And then you go back to like playing on like The Last of Us Part 1, which I played just before this and got the platinum. I was like, I barely felt anything going through that.
That explains why you didn't high-five Ellie.
Exactly. I didn't feel
anything. Yeah, where's the haptic?
Exactly. So that's a good point right there. Thank you, Tailgate, for bringing that up. Everyone exposing me for being a Potterhead. Adam writes in, and he says, I'm not gonna read that bit. Fuck you and your Persona 5. I'm somewhat split on the game. Wait, hold on a sec. All right, let me read from the beginning. Let me read from the beginning because there is a part to this. It goes, I've continued my replay of Persona 5 on Switch and also played that wizard game Eddie is so fond of. Have not been able to play that many hours, but then again, I'm not as big as a Harry Potter fan as you, Eddie. Do you want to know what happened to me? This is fucked up. I'm only actually 10 hours into the game, and I've been doing a lot of side stuff because I've been getting distracted. Cool. So you're going to be even worse, I can tell you right now.
Oh, I suspect this is going to be another, not Elden Ring, frickin' Skyrim. I never met the Greybeards. I haven't got anywhere near to finishing that game. I just spent 10 hours fucking around. And
anyone who's played this, I reckon either he's not going to get his wand by the next time we speak. Yeah, you.
Okay.
Because you get a wand at the beginning, that's not yours, but then you go to Ollivander's and you get a wand.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to be able to...
if I've got a wand, I have no need to go and do the main quest.
I don't think he's going to do it. Or if he does that...
Does it make a big difference to you doing your magic and stuff? Is it a big difference? If it's going to really stop me doing stuff, then I would probably do it, but otherwise,
Not really, no.
Cool.
You're not going to be able to find out all the other spells, but I don't think you're going to do it. You're going to be too busy doing other shit. And... if he gets past that, then he's definitely not getting the broom. I'll tell you that. I mean, and these are very early things. I bet you right now.
There's a good chance I'm gonna start the League of House Elf Haters and found the Death Eaters before. Wait, can I go to Hogwarts without having gone to Ollivander's?
Yes.
Cool. In that, I'm never getting this one. I predict it now.
He goes, I'm somewhat split on the game. Hogwarts is absolutely gorgeous, and getting lost in the puzzles, exploring areas from the books, like the House Elf kitchen, have really been a childhood dream come true. It's fucking peasants.
They live in rags.
It is quite buggy though. Mainly lighting bugs and pop-ins, like I said. Not being able to open a door because it has to load, even though there's no loading screen. Yeah, you go up to a door and it's almost like there's nothing to do. There's a tiny little like magical swirl on the door that, and then it's like, and pop.
Even on the PS5.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time. It's if you're sprinting through areas, you might get to a big hall and it's like, okay, we need to load over here. But it does happen, which breaks the immersion a little bit. Also, the dialogue is not very well written. At least the main the main character, and his performance is very lackluster, even though the rest of the cast are a lot better, specifically Queen Garlic. Queen Garlic, I like that. We're calling her Queen Garlic from now on. Oh, step on me.
What did you say?
Nothing.
I feel like I missed something there.
What I was most worried about, the combat is no issue though, and feels great, even though it doesn't look all that good when you're not playing yourself. The different spells, the spell combinations, and deciding when to dodge and when to use Protego.
Never use protection, just raw dog it.
Just raw dog it. Protego.
But this is the other thing.
Do the counter attack and the combat flow really well.
You know what I was saying? Like, we would have got killed if we'd been Jedi or whatever.
Yeah.
You and me getting kicked out of Hogwarts.
Day one.
Early.
Day one.
You think I'm not walking down the hall just between classes and just seeing Ed and being like, Crucio. Just like,
the amount of times I'll be down there and I'll just be like...
Straight taser a brer.
A window! And then skirt blows up and... It's just...
I mean...
I'll kicked out. I'll be the same age they are as well. Okay, so just chill out, right? I'm not me now, all right? Go back.
Yeah, so, to be honest, though, if your letter came through today,
straight, yeah, let's go.
I'm 100% going with 11-year-olds to
Mom,
learn magic.
I'm a wizard!
I knew it! I knew it! It just got lost. It just got lost. Daddy loves you very much, but he has to leave.
I have a calling, okay? He continues to say, in the end, I probably would have preferred a Persona-like Hogwarts. Who would have... It's anime... Get here. Game where you play every day of a year, go to classes each day, and hang out with your friends over an adventure. I tempered my expectations and ultimately was pleased by the game so far. What are your thoughts on the game, Eddie, if you haven't already made a topic on the episode yet, as the true Potterhead that you are? You guys all know it now, and it's all out there. I will say, because that video got a lot more views than normal videos that we post on there, I'm glad everyone who came by got the joke. Because there were people that were in there that were... I mean, it's 100% like ratio, and I was like, somebody's going to be like, you're just hating it because of the social thing, or... You're just hating it because you don't because you're stupid or you don't get it or something like that. But everyone got the joke, and I was like, "That's good. This is what I was hoping for." And yeah, fantastic.
Based. Freaking T said, "Unlike all of you nerds and losers, I'm actually playing good games like Dragon Age Origins."
Boo.
My man.
Boo.
And Vampire Survivors, which got a mobile port, so it's nice to finally play a good game on my phone when I'm bored and probably right now as you're reading this, meant like as I'm watching the record. What the frick? Anyway, yes, Dragon Age Origins is an OG.
Do you know what I've just realised? So next week Wednesday, supposedly is when my PlayStation VR headset is coming. This week I started with a Jedi lightsaber. Next week I'm going to start with my VR headset on, and I'm going to be doing the show from within the Matrix, where Andrew Tate says I shouldn't be.
If you play a Star Wars VR game with that in your hand, you're 100% knocking Isla out. That's 100% going to happen.
The thing is she loves to get up all in my legs all the time.
She does.
Like, but I want to be picked up right now.
Also, she does that thing where, like, she won't go up to her leg. She'll walk between your legs and look up behind herself.
Straight up.
So she's tippy. And then she's also tiny. So I really don't want a bra. I'm in the hospital because I just, like, knocked Isla across the room.
I kicked her across the room. I did.
You could have. She is teeny tiny.
Yeah. And I think that's about it. Just Cobra says I just finished Fall 1 and 2. I don't know what that is.
Where?
Eagerly awaiting 3.
Where?
And gone back to
Where's
bit
that
of Horizon 1. It's in the True Game above Adam's one. Above Adam's big one. Yeah, I don't know what Fall 1 and 2 is.
No idea.
It sounds stupid. He is playing Horizon Zero Dawn right now.
And it is
so
Chris.
Pretty
so
right now. So there you go, right there.
Horizon Zero Fun.
Zero Fun. That's what they call it.
We've seen what a Queen Redhead looks like, and now you're playing Aloy.
Exactly. Go to Harry Potter. See some good redheads. Horizon Call of the Mountain is going to be my first game that I play on PSVR 2. I'll probably be able to play it in time because next week I'll have the headset. And there'll be like a full week and a half that I can play it for, and then come back and tell you guys all about it here. Yeah. So that'll be a really good episode, right?
I hope it's good. I've never played it, but I hope it's good. VR.
Do you know what's funny? I've still got my racing seat and steering wheel and everything like that. And GT7 is getting.
I just got motion sickness.
VR update. Ben, Super Whale Ben, sent me his copy of GT7 because I was like, should I get GT7 for this? And he was like, bro, I'll just send it to you. I was like, safe. That has sorted me out. So after this is done, I'm going to set it up here, ready for when it comes next week. And
I'll do a whole podcast talking to you while driving. And
we're going to have poker night next week, Saturday, so you can come and play it then. Don't worry about it. I'll get ready for you. Don't worry. I'll set it all up.
No.
Anyway. Bro, that's everything we've got to talk about here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this great episode of the True Game Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it and all the rambling that we did. I enjoy having our little sessions of talking crap, and this was very good. This was awesome one, right?
Yeah, it's good fun. Hopefully, next one, you'll have my thoughts on what it's like to have not got a wand on Harry Potter.
I'm telling you, 2 weeks, he's not going to have had a wand yet, his own wand. I bet you.
Yeah, a little bit of me is like challenge accepted. I'll actually do a main quest.
The problem is that I almost did that. Like, I almost went for like 2 days without doing it because I was just exploring everything. And I was like, man, I see other videos of people online with brooms. When am I getting my broom?
How big is the game in comparison to like God of War?
Oh, big.
Oh, yeah, never happening.
Big.
Because I almost didn't finish God of War for our God of War spoiler thing. You know, like when we were going to talk about, I finished it. What did you think? Because... like you find that thing in Vanaheim, you're probably right.
And it's not like Midgard where you just run around and there's like specific like places you have to go. It's like it's a vertical map like that, and Hogwarts is here, Hogsmeade's here, another village down there, another village over here, Forbidden Forest over there. So you can just go around anywhere. So
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the sounds of things, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all so much for your support. Before we go.
Yeah.
YouTube, gonna go to our old video, correcting Conbrosations.
No freaking way. So look, if you're new around here, we say things on the internet. We've never let pesky things like facts and information get in the way of a strongly held belief. So when we say something wrong, we have to just head down to the comment section of this video, ideally timestamp it. At 13 minutes and 72 seconds when you said this, it was actually that. And we all credit you and read out your timestamp and your comment. But we rarely get these because we're so smart. Our brains are so big and wrinkly.
Exactly. So, Runic Firebird. Oh, brother, it's been a while. I love this.
Watch him miss this because it's not here. We'll be like, what are we talking about?
It's like, I went all the way to the end. What are you talking about? Hello to 2023, boy. Glad to see you.
Oh, it's been a minute then.
It's been a bit. However, that means correcting Conbrosations. I have a bone to pick with you. What do you mean no one is going to get that joke? Obviously, your number one Shazam stan is going to get the joke about the 1996 comedy Kazam, starring Shaq, and the mix-up between that movie and Shazam. Because we were talking about no one's going to get it. A jukebox over your head. I am because no one's going to get it. But he got it. He got it. That's pretty cool.
I'm actually really impressed because I thought No one's gonna get that.
Totally not. It wasn't even a good movie. Like,
It also wasn't even a. I mean, it was a good joke, but it wasn't like a funny joke.
yeah.
It was a good
A
joke.
reference to something really
yeah.
old. For an actual correction, Eddie, I'm showing me Sheps when he says here.
Yeah, it's obviously a typo. Very close to those letters.
Sheps, you said that PlayStation was saying they were bringing out 10 live service games before this financial year, but what they said is they're going to bring 10 financial games over the whole console cycle. My apologies. I could have sworn I remembered it being this financial year, but perhaps I got that completely wrong, so thank you very much for that correction right there.
Finally, a good correction.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably the end of it then.
That is the only one, actually.
Oh, shit.
So we're doing pretty good right
Yeah,
now.
boy! And on that crazy note,
yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you all for your support. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.
we are...
In the video, it looks really fucking
It looks sick.
like it's about to cut me in half.
It
Like,
is.
woo!
It is much. So in the video, the way it looks on the TV screen is the color it looks in real life.
Yeah.
But it looks.
In the dark, though, it looks very good.
It looks lightsabery there.
I've done the you know, like the John Boyega in the forest at night.
Yeah.
Everything lights up blue in this room. We turn off all the lights. It's
That's
so
sick.
cool.
That is
So
sick.
yeah, that's pretty good right there. Anyway, bye.
Later, boys. And Sophie.